Hey,
But as with many other people, I am a fan of a certain movie that came out in the 80s, as well as other movies that are part of that franchise and the original short story. Uh, I was inspired in part because when I first started playing the Alien RPG scenario, one of the things that's special about it is that uh, players are given personal agendas. And in what the system calls a cinematic scenario, which is usually like a one shot or like a very limited number of sessions, you give the players secret agendas, which uh, may not line up with the other players. And so not only are the players having to deal with the same sort of challenges that are in any other RPG, the monsters and whatever else, they have to worry about each other. And sometimes the the players can be their own worst enemy. And so this particular scenario and the influence seem to fit very naturally to that sort of gameplay.
and you created some very unique additions to the alien system within the scenario. Can you expound upon that? Because I think that was really cool what you did with the player agendas as well as the different cards and stuff.
Sure. So, in addition to what is standard for the Alien RPG scenario, I included for like table play something I call true intent cards. So, in the course of the gameplay, you have a player claiming to do a certain thing. Oh, I'm going to check out this room. I'm going to fix this thing. Um, and they may or may not be doing that based on their agenda. Um, since this scenario so very heavily relies on what the player intends to actually do, there are these what I call true intent cards. So whenever you do a certain action, the person running the game in the system, the game mother, the GM, may request that player to give them a true intent card. And so the player has one of two cards, and they can either give, depending on which intent they're following, they can either give the game mother a card that basically says, "Yeah, I'm doing the thing that I'm claiming to do," or they give them a card that says, "I'm doing the thing my agenda is telling me to do." And based on which card they give, the game mother can then weave the story appropriately based on that intent. Now, disclaimer: the GM can run the scenario in a certain way where even the player might not necessarily know. So those cards don't always come up into play, but it is common. Uh, it is kind of the default for the scenario to use those cards.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the uniqueness of it, and I think it definitely adds a lot to the play. Um, but I guess what would be the main theme of this adventure, and how do you think this new mechanic really fits the mold for this thing?
Sure. So the themes rather for this scenario are distrust and desolation. The setting is all about the desolation. It's this isolated, cold, windy, stormy place cut off from civilization. There's seemingly no signs of life anywhere. There's no easy way to call for help. And that feeds into the other theme of distrust. Um, these people are ostensibly working together, but they come from very different backgrounds, uh, different nationalities, uh, and of course, different agendas. And so, as this scenario unfolds, the players are going to be, well, and the characters that they play are going to be uh, encouraged to be distrustful of each other.
Excellent. And was this the first adventure you wrote?
Uh, to this degree, yes. Um, this is the first.
And what would you give, I guess, for advice or anyone else who would like to do something like this?
Sure. Just as with any creative endeavors, researching both the whatever system we're setting or um, influences that you're looking, get as much of that um, influence as you can. Don't be afraid to think outside the box too, like the things that might not necessarily be obvious that can help you out, your day-to-day stuff. And then most systems, including this one, have some means of giving you a template to work with, even if that template is their other official products. You can look at the other official products and see, all right, well, in Alien for RPG, for instance, they break it down for the cinematics. There's a what's the story mother? That's what you introduce to the players. They have the situation, the person as the game mother, what's actually going on. Your characters that you're going to give to your players and your agendas, the location that it's set in, how the official scenarios break down each room that the players can explore, and then events, which my favorite way to think about any RPG scenario is it's kind of like a cookbook. It's a recipe. It's not a script necessarily, because your players are the stars. They're your actors. They will influence how that plays out. So as the person running the scenario, you basically have ingredients for how that plays out. And in this case, that would be events. What kind of events can you work in? Some of them are mandatory, and others are optional as the game mother wishes to direct the scenario.
Excellent. So, last question. Why Alien? And then follow up, what's next for you?
I am a huge fan of the Alien franchise. More so even as I got into the role-playing scenario. I mean, I enjoyed the movies and the video games and things like that. But once I picked up the role-playing game, and so much of the art and lore and the game mechanics involving the stress and panic that the player characters can experience, that really emulates that horror movie vibe, where the fear is sometimes the biggest enemy. And so that's something I like both about the setting and the system. The setting, just this, sci-fi horror mix, it's like the OG body horror. And this influence is definitely, the influence for this scenario is another key body horror example. So yeah, that's what I love about the system and the setting. And then what's next? So I am looking to make more Alien RPG scenarios. They're in various stages of development right now. Some of them have their own influences and lengths of play and things of that nature. It's difficult to say which one will be ready next, but I can say one will be influenced by the classic video game Doom.
Nice.
There's one that's influenced by a couple movies that's a little more obscure. There's a 1977 movie called Sorcerer, which has influences in itself from a 50s movie called The Wages of Fear. There's another one-shot, strictly one-shot scenario that's just basically everything I love about the Alien movies meshed together. I've gotten to playtest that already, so it's just a matter of officially writing that out so people can run it themselves. So those are some of the ones I'm tinkering with.
Awesome. Well, thank you for showing up. I definitely hope that the players enjoy it. Well, that's a guarantee. I hope that they survive. I know that's not.
That is not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's not on the table. So one last word to the players. We're about to jump into your scenario. Any advice, words of comfort?
Oof. Distrust can be both a tool to survival and a double-edged sword. I wish I could remember the quote from Ash from the first movie.
Oh God, yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, but essentially, your chances for survival are not guaranteed, and just always be on the watch. Look out.
Excellent.
One.
Boom. What's up, everyone? It is Wednesday night, aka Hump Day. If you're like me, you celebrate this day because we are this much closer to the weekend. Unless you're self-employed, then it's just kind of like another work week that you get to shove into a 2-day week. But regardless, today is a day to celebrate because we get to play the uplifting and inspirational TTRPG known as Alien, the role-playing game based on movies of the same name. Oh, that's awesome. We see the
Ridley
connection.
Scott.
The original Disney princess, right? We get two from there. So before we get into any more shenanigans and everything like that, I just want to thank our sponsors, which help keep me going for the most part, and a couple of everyone else too. First off is Grinding Coffee. Grinding Coffee is a Black LGBT plus owned coffee business that will keep you awake and happy with the best roast directly shipped to your door. I know one of my favorites is a gay agenda. It will make you gayer. So I've been loving it and I've been leveling up. Use our affiliate link, penny for a tail, to get that sweet discount. And yeah, tasty good stuff. Next up is Dice Dungeons, which actually is a Baltimore-based company that makes beautiful and high-quality dice and gaming accessories for every table. So like adventure packs and stuff like that. And their last Kickstarter had this really cool different dice for each class. And if you have a bard in the group, you should definitely link it because they're just going to be extra. And the bard dice are definitely extra. Finally, we have Fibermancers for Hire. They do magic with thread. I know this season they're making little cute ghosts, which are just adorable.
Yeah, they're so cute.
I know I have my squid thing.
Yes. I got my little weaver.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's so cute and it's soft and cuddly. It's basically a dopamine hit every time you squish it. So check it out, fibermancersforhire.com. That's a 4, the number 4, not the FOUR or FOR. And so that's it for me. I'm going to start talking, but I'm going to swing it on over to the people who make this wonderful and beautiful stream even more beautiful. Starting with our illustrious Mama. Can I call you Mama, David?
You can call me Mother.
Okay, Mother. Okay, yeah. Okay, Mother. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, so tonight I'll be serving as our game mother, as described in Alien, named after the AI computer that always seems to find a way to put the characters in a bad situation that is guaranteed to get worse. That is my role tonight. Hi, everybody. My name is David Gillespie. I'm from High Shelf Collective, and you can find us on all things High Shelf Collective. I'm very happy to be here running Alien with all of you tonight. just hold on to your butts because it's gonna be good.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the next. Can I pass the buck to?
Yeah.
Milan?
I think we're hot potatoing it.
All right,
Oh.
yeah, the potato to Milan. How about that?
Well, as previously mentioned, hi, my name is Milan, also known as Mallard Man on the internet. Tonight, should I introduce my character?
We'll get into that in a minute. Don't you
All
worry.
right.
The movie
Yeah,
hasn't
I-
started yet. Like any 80s movie, we get the credits first and
Yeah.
then like the movie.
Yes.
Right. My credits. I play TTRPGs and other video games on the internet. You can find me over on twitter.com at mallardman_. And I guess I'll pass along as well to Taylor.
To me, I am Taylor, or at the _potato_ on the internet. Getting me to a new note sheet here for this terrifying action we're gonna have to see today. But you
don't
can
need to take
find me
notes.
also. I may not live long enough. I have some biscuits on me. But that's fine. You know where you can see me live in games for multiple episodes? High Shelf Collective.
Sorry.
I haven't died over there yet. So
Oh,
I know that's a challenge.
Come
I'm
on.
about to play in
you
a
know,
game with David.
It's
and
because you are always the GM. You're a forever GM, just like I am.
you
kill
know
the GM.
I do crazy shit to try to die, and
I
people
know,
still
I know,
don't kill
I
me. But yeah, you can catch you over there. We have just so much fun stuff. I run a D&D campaign. I play a D&D campaign. We've got some Cyberpunk Red Mass Effect theme, but then we have a real Cyberpunk Red coming back like a week from right now that David will also be running and I'll be playing in. You can also find me here on Fridays at 3:30 Eastern playing Sleepaway with Mitch. Play during the day. It's just good spooky camp goodness. And yeah, that's that. You can usually find me bopping around Lost Caravan and 2000 Tales as well. So do all the things. Let me that you closer.
Yes,
Is it me?
yes. If you
It's
can introduce
you.
yourself. Yes.
Yeah, it's me. Sorry, I jumped. Hi, I'm Casa, Wilding _ on Twitter. I am usually on Lost Caravan. This is but I think I've been on Weave as well, which is a long time ago, but not too long because I'm a complete noob at all of this. I'm having fun, and I'm so happy that I was invited to play because I was wanting to play something sci-fi, and yeah, here I am, excited.
Excellent. Mitch, do we have any other announcements, or should I just jump right into the?
Yeah, just jump right in.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah, nothing else matters in this world except for this moment in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Until we
So
die.
we are playing a scenario called "The Stranger They Come," which I believe all of you just watched an interview with the creator, and I think he may have slipped that this is going to be a tough one, which is fair. In Alien, we were playing a cinematic scenario, so all of the characters are pre-generated. They have their own agendas and goals, right? And the players here get to use that as much as they like or not. But obviously, the name of the game is survival. With our limited time tonight, we are going to start late in the adventure. But first, I want to set the kind of stage and kind of walk through some of the earlier steps of this scenario just to see how did we get here and what decisions did we make that were really important before we kind of bring the camera in and watch kind of the events unfold for our players tonight. So I'm going to read a little bit of block text, and then we'll do a little character introduction. And then once we get through character introduction, we'll go through some just what did you do in Act 1 and Act 2, and how did you weather that storm, a literal storm once we get to it. So just to set the stage, all of you, along with a lot more people, are a part of a small research outfit from all over the Middle Heavens. In the world of Alien, there are a number of nations, and for better or worse, there are all these different organizations, and you all stem from every corner of the galaxy, meeting here on this research station. Now, you must work together as strangers in a strange land. As the wind and cold threatens to freeze your bodies, a stranger threat unearthed on this barren planet may freeze your souls. And the stranger they come, the more trust within each other you leads. Within each of you leads. Now, the real story here. I love in alien scenarios. There's always this section for me as the GM of what's the story, Mother, right? Right out of the first Alien, because Mother is the computer that all the NPCs like to talk to. And the deal is that you are all on this ice planet called MT3831. And some of your characters even have like hats or beanies that say MT3831, because this is you're the sole occupants and inhabitants of this planet. You're on a scientific research station that's the only building here on this whole planet. And you've been here for quite some time, and you are pretty far away from the rest of civilization. You're not near any shipping lanes. You're not near any like major colonies. You're about 3 weeks away from the nearest pit stop, right? The nearest other piece of civilization. So you're really remote and isolated. Now, the station operates under members of each of the 4 major supernations. One of the few such ventures made possible under the Joint Operations Branch, aka JOB. And as the distant planet provides little current strategic value, no one's making a play for this hunk of ice. Contains few resources, hosts a presently unpredictable climate. No one supernation or mega corporation really cares a lot about this. They haven't like put a lot of priority here. But the current claim to the frozen rock falls to the JOB, or the Joint Operations Branch, and it allows for general scientific pursuits and research, as well as studying the unusual climate found on this planet. For you, life here has been harsh and lonely in the short time that you've worked here. Up until now, a number of as numbing to your mind as your flesh, because it is boring and cold, and there really just isn't much to do outside of this research station because it's all like sub-freezing temperatures. There's nothing to do here, and you've been here for a minute. Now, where things got a little interesting. About a week ago, the planet experienced a geological event, a tectonic shift of some kind, registered on the Richter scales. There was measurements and concerns and that kind of thing. And a haunting signal of alien nature started emanating from within a local mountain range called the Ametia Mountain Range. It's just under 30 kilometers east of the research facility. And it was strong enough to block all wireless communication. It crossed all bands. It was a super powerful signal. It really cut you off from your employers. It cut you off from your families. It cut you off from getting the latest news and gossip and the things, the entertainment feeds that you would use to like make it through this whole experience in this box with other humans. All of those things went away kind of an instant when this signal began emanating across the planet. Now, responding both in anticipation and apprehension, nearly 2/3 of those on the station left to investigate. There's some heavy equipment, some heavy cargo haulers that are able to traverse the planet, and they all loaded up in the cargo hauler and went to go figure out where the signal was coming from, how to stop it so that communications could be restored, and just understand what the heck is going on over there. Now, that was a week ago. There's been no word since. And a lot of you, along with a handful of NPCs, about 12 people in total, have stayed here in the research facility, kind of waiting for them to return. Now, there's been no word. They are overdue. But those of you left behind can't help but wonder if you have your own problems soon enough. So the challenges that immediately hit the group is that you have this missing research team that is off trying to uncover what has happened and what's going on with the signal. By the way, the signal, at least in the beginning of the game, is still emanating. They did not stop the signal, even though they've been gone a week. And you have word of a storm is brewing, is coming. And a storm in this context on this planet, they're quite brutal. And the whole station needs to be prepped for a storm. So the beginning of the game, you all had a number of tasks to achieve in order to like get the station ready for the storm. All the same while you are wondering what has happened to your compatriots. Now, there's the expedition crew, if we get into it, they all have names and families and things like that, and we can explore those backstories as appropriate. But just spoiler alert, they never return. And except for two people do come back. Out of the several that left, there's a small handful that make it back. So when we start the game, and this is kind of where we're going to get into some narrative, we're just going to talk. Okay, we're going to talk about what your characters did. Before we do that, I desperately want to meet each of your characters, and let's just kind of find out who they are. I'm going to start with Casa. Why don't you tell us about Penter, your scientist, what they're about?
So Penta is just a bit of a recluse. She doesn't really like anyone. The only thing that she really likes is the plants in the greenhouse. So she's probably there, just kind of crouched down, like going through the soil, kind of just talking to herself, like, oh, that's stupid. They never care about like any of our stuff, and the plants are the most important part, right? And yeah, she's just mumbling. Not really. She's not overly confident, but I don't think she'd be talking to anyone at the moment.
Yeah, excellent. As any good botanist, focused on what truly matters, the things that provide food and oxygen for this small outfit of people who desperately need those things. Because eventually this game will get into resource management, and oxygen is one of those things you get to worry about. Next up, let's have, oh gosh, how about Milan? How about you talk to us about your character?
All right. I am playing Joshi, also on the biological side of things, but more to do with people. I am the only medical officer in this entire outpost. For whatever reason, they only put one of us here.
Yeah.
Joshi, I'm a bit, unflappable is a word I would like to use. Nothing really gets past me. When it's go time, it's go time. I've got the sutures in hand, because these idiots always do something. It's once a day at this point.
People hurt themselves. This is dangerous work. It's hard work. People hurt themselves. You're the only one that can put them back together. Absolutely. And I think that being on a remote outpost that's weeks away from any kind of resupply, I'm going to crib a little bit from like the Antarctic research facilities that we have here on Earth, and that I'm going to say that you have had your appendix removed, because there's a great story of a doctor who was the only surgeon on the outpost, and they had appendicitis, and they had to operate on themselves to save their own lives so that there was still a doctor present in the facility. So I'm going to say that you, as the only medical professional here with any real skill, you had your appendices preemptively removed, so that did not get you killed.
I would have straight up died. I'd be like, look, guys, I got appendicitis. I'm gonna die. So y'all get your stuff figured out within the next couple of days.
Go find where all the band-aids are and Neosporin, and good luck.
Yeah.
Ask me questions now. We're on a timeline.
Yeah, that's right. To American healthcare. You don't have access.
What do you want to know about the human body? I'll tell you. That's good. I love it. Okay. So just a little bit of world building there for us, just for the funsies. Excellent. Mitch, why don't you talk to us about the Marshal Dumont?
Yeah. Dumont is in his office. He is in charge of the safety of this whole place, and he kind of gazes outside through the window at the flurry of snow, and you can kind of see reflected in that window lit cigarette as he sucks it in and breathes out a little bit of smoke onto the computer screen as he keeps tapping away at the keys to
The 80s
log.
were a wild time.
I know, right? Green, like little buttons, like.
Yep.
As he's logging like the daily occurrences, and his eyes look like he's tired. He hasn't slept much. This whole place should have been a place of safety, and the safety, and it was all on his shoulders, and now that has fallen apart. And he can't help but think of all the other times he's failed his friends or his family, and this just seems like a repeat of that. Yeah. But he doesn't log this stuff down. These are feelings, and feelings can be compartmentalized and buried in a place where you can no longer see it screaming.
Yeah, you've seen the damage that feelings can do in an unofficial report. So you keep those away from the logs of Mother and any other company asset.
Yeah, it's probably like the shot is of him like saying or typing into the computer like, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I don't want to be here anymore, and then deleting it and saying, I am content, I am fine.
Yeah, everything is nominal.
Yeah.
Perfect. And what's important about the Marshal's office, which I absolutely love, is you gatekeep quarantine, which is the primary airlock in and out of the research facility. So they must go through your office in order to get into the facility. And that will come up here in just a second after we meet Taylor's character. Taylor, you are playing the Marine, correct?
Yes, I am Volkov. I am a Marine. Volkov has seen some shit, has been asked to do some things he didn't necessarily want to do, and that's what got him here. But through it all, what does he love the most? Community, people, making connections with people. And while he may have been sitting here for not the best of reasons in his mind, he has taken his position as cook very seriously, has chatted with everybody, made some friends, and just really tried to find a sense of community out here in this barren wasteland. And we may not have fancy video games and TV anymore, but we have each other.
That's right.
That's what Volkov really cares about.
He's got some killer shades.
Oh yeah, he does. Whenever he pops up on our view over here, look at that.
Yes.
Killer
Yes.
shades.
Now there are other NPCs present, okay, and we will meet them as appropriate, like Kitta the Kid and Kraft the Scientist and Bell the Officer and all these sorts of other NPCs. There's about 12 in total. We are only meeting with 4 of them today. I am ostensibly running the rest, but that's going to happen in the background because I cannot be asked to declare the actions
12 people constantly
of 8 people, while also dealing with the scenario. So
I need NPC theater for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's right. I'll just role play whole scenes between them, and you all can just like sit there quietly waiting. No, all right. So let's get into it. I want to do some narrative. Let's just high level talk about some major events that have recently occurred. Give us a couple of ideas of how your characters would have approached that, and that helps us set the stage for future actions and really gets us into Act 3. So in the very beginning, you guys have these problems brewing. The storm, some of you are running around working on preparing the research station for that. Some of you have gone outside with protective suits and equipment. Some of you are inside gathering materials and securing the research station in that way. And at some point, a survivor from the expedition returns. Lee, who's an officer, she shows up, and let me see if I can share her with the crew. Yep, I will show to players. This is Lee. Hopefully, you all see Lee in Roll20. And she showed up relatively unscathed and cold, bitterly cold, and spoke of what happened, that they got to the source of the signal, began digging, but she's really scared because the synthetic who was attached to this research station, named by the name of Earl, and I will show Earl to you here. She says that Earl has gone completely insane, started killing everyone, did it quietly, and before they could really put things together, he had already killed most of the research crew, and she was lucky to escape with her life. Earl shows up after some amount of time and is completely like burned and disfigured. Looks like Earl has been through quite a bit, and his ability to speak has been completely removed. His initial kind of like introduction to the group was that he was stalking around the research facility, and whoever was outside would have spotted Earl. And though he was not hostile to that person, it was clear that Earl was very focused on some task and was scouring the research facility, and if allowed to, would have gained entry into the research facility. So I want to kind of pause here and see, just from like initial gut reactions, knowing what your characters would have potentially, how they would have potentially felt about these two arrivals. The timing of them, we can kind of make that up. One would have arrived right around the same time as the other. But I think maybe I'll start with the Marshal, because you would have been probably the most opinionated early on, even though some others may have been like working and initially engaged. I think that as the Marshal, probably your voice would have carried a lot of weight. And so maybe we'll just start with the Marshal, and then if anybody has counterpoints they would have made, or other things they would have liked to try and do, let me know. But Marshal, how would you have kind of addressed both of these people separately? And then if you ever put them together, let me know about that.
Oh, we are not putting them together. First off, they don't get past quarantine. All right.
All right.
Something horrific has happened. Something horrific continues to happen. And my focus is on the safety and order of the people who still reside within this facility. Something happened. The synthetic, who knows? Maybe a virus of some sort. Regardless, cannot risk it. So I hope that there's a storage place or something disconnected from the facility that they can reside in until we get backup to deal with this problem.
You have a couple of options as the Marshal. You have the quarantine chamber, which is basically an airlock attached to the research facility you can put them into. Additionally, you do have like your own office where you can lock them and like handcuff them in place. Now, this planet is strange. One thing I neglected to mention earlier was that while you all have been here, you have noticed, and maybe why the research station is here, is there are trace elements of some kind on the air. And whenever anybody is outside for an extended period of time, the air is breathable, if bitterly cold. There have been some scattered reports of hallucinations from some members of the research team. So whoever would have been outside working to facilitate this, Yuan, she would have been very busy. The roughneck, she would have been very busy. She certainly complained of an episode while outside. And if anybody else would have been assisting with that, you probably also experienced at some point a shifting of the horizon, the moons of this planet behaving oddly, something along those lines. And the research team has largely attributed that to the trace elements in the atmosphere that are not yet fully understood. But it's, just something to consider as like just environmental flavor.
Yeah, I
It
will
has
definitely over the intercom, probably like pressing the red button and like smacking the mic a little bit so you kind of hear that like and then like a little bit of feedback. This is your Marshall Dumont. Just want to say, as things progress, we are currently going to be implementing a system by which you will be paired up with an individual and you will keep notes on their activities as well as their mental stability, and deliver these reports to me by the end of the day, each and every day. Just to make sure that we have no hallucinations which might get out of control or run rampant. Thank you. Dumont out.
Love that. I love general PSA, getting everybody into a good place, and thus we have resolved the feeling sick issue on this place by having a buddy system. Okay, so Lee would have been detained. It sounds like Lee would be in like quarantine. Is that right?
Yeah, both of them, the synthetic and Lee, in quarantine, handcuffed. And I will get a team together to do a thorough search of, especially the doctor. Like I feel like let's assist the doctor in checking them over before we get them out of quarantine.
Yeah. Does Lee have any injuries or anything like that?
Yeah. So Lee seems to have like the injuries associated with freezing. Like frost, not quite frostbite setting in, but you can see that she has suffered through whatever trek she has made, however long that distance has been. She's been exposed to the elements and she's survived, but otherwise does not seem to be like bodily harm. She says that once she realized what was going on, she made her escape as best she could. She thought that she had killed Earl, but is terrified to know that he is still alive. So that is, Lee is compliant, and you do your medical checks, do a physical, whatever you like, and Lee is healthy yet shaken. Earl, on the other hand, is a different story. Earl is not compliant and does not succumb to any kind of you talk to Earl, you try and restrain Earl will fight you. And so I just want to get a sense of, from maybe the marshal and the doctor, how do you address the synthetic that is not going to be compliant, is not going to
put it down?
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah,
All right.
Joshi does not have a very high opinion of synthetics.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm just over the intercom, be like, it's probably after
the
a
whole
time.
station.
Yeah, like it's probably after a time when we've, if possible, Mother, we've kind of secured him and have his like head placed against the desk next to the mic. Not still attached to his body. Okay, still attached to. Don't be weird.
I mean, I'm not the one. I'm not the one saying the words that you're saying, so I don't think I'm at risk of being weird.
But Marshall Dumont will once again click open the intercom system and just be like, hello, this is Dumont again. I am with our dear doctor, and we have both agreed that from here on out, any individuals who do not comply with the order and safety guaranteed and directed by myself and the dear doctor will be killed. Thank you. He'll end. Go ahead.
I would say to you, I don't remember discussing that at any point.
I just like leaving the mic on. I like put a bullet through the android's head so that everyone could hear it, and then I turn the mic off.
Oh my god! All right, good. All right, the tone is set now. Privately, I'm going to say that Dumont, you are pulled in by Bell, the officer, to like we understand that you are, I understand that you are like helping to maintain order and these sorts of things, but we don't want to create a panic. So maybe this is where we stay at the threats, and that is something that Bell would offer up as like a, hey, appreciate you, Marshall, and that'll be like the end of that. You certainly don't have to comply to that, but that's something that I think that Bell would do, is trying to rein in the Marshall a little bit.
Yeah, I'd be like, you should shut the fuck up when grown folks talking. All right, now's not the time for hesitancy because lives are on the line.
Awesome. I love this. Okay. Any other notes from the other players? I think we know how the doctor feels. Anything else from?
Yeah, the doctor just shot an android. Holy hell.
I didn't do anything.
On live podcast.
The Marshal says, "What did you do? Why did you shoot him again? He's already dead."
I feel like, I mean, through all of this, Volkov is very just like, okay, that's above my pay grade, I guess, whatever the Marshal wants to do, whatever. But with just this whole buddy system and realizing that people are people, and I see everyone very much taking note on any slight change in anyone's demeanor ever.
Okay.
Like just a notebook, I'm like,
You're just like keeping a very fastidious log. Like,
you liked my mashed potatoes yesterday, but today you do not.
Normally, Mueller drinks 1 cup of coffee. Today he's drinking 2. Okay, good. Love it.
What does this mean?
Yeah, I love it.
Penta's probably. I mean, is the quarantine area like closed off?
Yeah, it's a small like 6 foot by 6 foot box that a person or two could be inside of. You have run of the rest of the station. You are not in quarantine, and you're free access to your plants and any other scientists that you have kinship with. But yeah, you are not in quarantine.
Yeah, so I just feel like if I was with my plants at the beginning and then hearing on the intercom the Marshal saying all of that, I would get a bit curious, because like it seems a bit weird. So I would try to like creep around and see if I could see what was going on in terms of like what he shot.
Who's your buddy?
Yeah, who do you pal around with?
My buddy is Mueller,
perfect.
but he's not with me at the moment, right?
He certainly can be. Yeah, the company. Yeah, he certainly can be if you like. And yeah, that would make sense, right? You and Mueller are together. He's like one of the few people that you can stand here on the research station. So yeah, you two are buddied up. Now, things progress, right? At some point, there is a discussion of, well, we have to go and investigate. We have to go find out what happened, right? Because we have this person, Lee, with a story, a dead android, and we got to find out what's going on. And the signal is still going, right? So like our problem has not been fixed. So there will be some group here that needs to continue to work on the research station, and there will be some group that will go to this expedition site. Just show of hands who wants to go to the expedition site. This is like easy peasy. Okay, I got one. Marshall doesn't. All right, cool. Got a scientist. Okay. So scientist and doctor will go. Everybody else will stay. We'll say there's a couple NPCs with you too. Like Rona and Mueller will go with you all. So there'll be 4 of you going to the expedition site.
Would it be prudent to bring the geologist with us in case there's things to study about geological? Yeah,
love that. Super smart. Geologist comes to and like doesn't want to go, but does go, right? It's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I probably should go to the thing that nobody survived. Yeah, I'll go to that. So you fly. You guys are in like a heli thing, like a flying vehicle.
I'll if it's okay, I'll give the doctor my gun
Sure.
Just kind of give him a hug, like, "Hey, it's you and me, okay? You come back in one piece." He like hands over the revolver.
It's awesome.
I will immediately hand it to Samara, the geologist who is my buddy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, excellent. And now, Marshall, you do know you have a stockpile of weapons. Should you ever need it? In your office, you have shotguns and all kinds of fun stuff. So.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah. If you want one, you have
I'm
one.
about to Rambo this shit.
Excellent. So just high level, some things that occur on the expedition site. Before you get there, you will spot a crash landing. The other heli vehicle has crashed not far from the base. Now, this would have the cargo hauler that the main group took had airlift vehicles with it, and that was one of the ways that you all expected, like resupply and all that kind of stuff. Those helicopters never came back, right? But there is one that is a smoldering wreck, recent crash on the ground, currently smoking. Do you stop and investigate or continue on to the expedition site?
How recent does the crash look?
It is currently smoking.
I would insist that we look for survivors.
Okay. Yeah, you all...
I would say no.
Yeah, right. Excellent.
I would say let's go.
Yeah, there is probably a designation that as the medical officer you could pull to say that you have to, right? So there's probably a discussion and then an ability for you to pull rank as the medical officer.
I would love to not have to pull rank immediately. Maybe if we can get a majority of the people to agree first.
You will discuss this and figure out the way, right? But either way, investigating the crash site, there are no survivors, there are no bodies. Okay. What you do find is a smattering of blood and the kind of milky white cast off from androids whenever they bleed. And that all looks like that happened in the cockpit, and looks like the android was the one piloting because all the white stuff is in the seat and the red stuff is all on the walls, around the seat.
As far as we know, do we know that Earl pilots at all?
Yeah, Earl can pilot.
Okay.
He's a general workhorse for the base and can basically do whatever the team doesn't want to do. So if nobody wants to pilot, Earl can pilot. If nobody wants to take out the trash, Earl can take out the trash. So yeah, all the grunt work Earl can do.
Okay. If there's no survivors, I think I'm not a forensics expert, so
yeah, no, it's fair. That's fair. Yeah, and I definitely don't want to do any skilling here. I just wanted to kind of get a sense of here are the major events that you all run into and how you address them. So the expedition site, there are a number of bodies here. It is actually, you know what I can do? I can just show you. There is the cargo lifter, along with all the temporary helipads they set out. There's the generator and the tents that they set up and the command post that they built. And then there is this shaft that goes deeper into the icy mountains, where the signal was coming from. Now, there's a large number of mangled bodies here, human. There seem to be a few people that were beaten to death, and then there's this population that were burned. That were burned with either fire or acid. Based on how you find the bodies, they're mangled and charred, and it looks like those that were burned had a really big pool of blood that kind of spread out in all directions around them, whereas the ones that were beaten No, they were just bludgeoned to death. So there's this kind of like just general problem in this area that you find. Another thing I will give you is that you do turn off the source of the signal. You eventually get down into the depths and find the thing that is causing this transmission and disable it. Any major things that you all want to do here beyond like this kind of general investigation and achieving the main goal of turning off the signal?
Where we went to turn it off, is there anything around? Can I like?
Yeah, you find in that room where the signal was happening, you find a long dead, centuries dead, just alien being. Looks like 6 to 8 legs. Looks like maybe had 8 legs at one point, but it really has 6 now because a couple of them got ripped off at some stage. Some sort of like ancient creature. It was big. It was bigger than a person, but it's been dead a long time. And that is the one kind of non-human thing that you found down here. And then the source of the signal is a large exotic machine that seems to have been maybe always on, but wasn't able to produce its signal until the tectonic shift occurred. So yeah, there's this, not a lot to really uncover here other than how to turn it off and this like ancient corpse that was present in this room. So, go ahead.
Is there anything I can take from the ancient thing to like maybe
Sure.
like do some science stuff?
Yeah,
with?
absolutely. You 100% grab a sample, 1000% grab some samples from this thing. Absolutely. Rona, the animal biologist, would love to get their hands on this to understand what's going on. Absolutely. Any other investigations of the bodies that are found? Everybody's dead. There's no, you guys look, there's just nobody hiding here. They've all been killed by something.
I just kick a body.
Yeah. Okay. While you all are returning, those of you who stayed behind on the research facility, so Marshall and Volkov and everyone else, you get word that the team is back. Is heading back. The signal has dissipated, so you'll have communications with one another again. There's a number of people dedicated to solving this this problem of the storm, and so the station has been busy, and everybody's had tasks to achieve. And while the folks have been achieving these tasks, it appears that Lee has escaped quarantine. And you all find Lee in the, I will move us to the facility. You all find Lee in, she is down here in the biological lab and greenhouse. And in the biological lab, there are a number of rodents and small research animals in cages. And the scene that you come across is truly horrific. She has, you see her face, but it's like tilted off to the side as this like large inky black tendril has left her, like the part that's not covered by her jacket, and is in these various cages, and the animals are freaking out, making all kinds of noise. Several of the cages have already exploded open, and you can see little inky black trails of things that have scattered throughout the facility. It does not take much to kill Lee and to put her down, but a number of animals have been touched by this like inky black trunk that invaded and destroyed these many cages of animals, and several of them have dispersed throughout the facility. And
fuck.
yeah, so thus begins Act 2. Stranger has been revealed, and you all have kind of a chance to study the bodies of those you have found out in the field and of Lee. You find that you find some information out about the stranger. First of all, Lee left this facility a fully formed human, absolutely. But when she returned, she was no longer human. Basically, mostly just had bones, and then the creature form thing was wrapped around that skeleton, manipulating it, and had otherwise perfectly copied Lee, assimilated Lee, and presented as Lee. And with the same voice and everything, the same person you remember before she left the research facility, and is no longer human by any stretch. So I'll just say that strangers not human. Let's see here. You do find that though Lee herself is dead, there was a portion of her, maybe a leg, that continued to function afterwards. It continued to like kind of flop and try and gain like escape, right? Trailing this like inky black behind her. You dispatched that. Bullets didn't seem to help. The shotgun was very effective at spreading things around, but it remained animated.
Do I have a flamethrower?
Flame worked. Okay. Now, as you started to use the flame, a disturbing thing occurred that caused panic. This all caused panic, of course, but there was one final moment that really sunk in deep for the marshal. When the marshal levied the flamethrower across this like swath of inky dark blood, he swears that he watched it ripple away from the flame in desperation. And it took him, after blacking out and scorching not just the inky blackness, but every animal in those cages and everything else in the room, save for the plants. The marshal went completely insane in that room, just burning all that he could, dumping all of the fuel you had left in that flamethrower. There's more fuel on the base, but you ended that panic with nothing. But everything in front of you was burned. Even some people had to leave the room, else they would get burned.
They're not used to hell.
Yeah, exactly. And with that,
I feel like I was probably one of the ones there, like trying to help with the animals, because I realized, and I was like,
"Yeah,
no thanks.
Yeah,
no more of this.
Yeah,
go back to your cupcakes, damn it."
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. You do capture an animal that has been infected by.
No, we ain't. We're burning it.
This thing. Okay, good.
No,
good.
yeah. No.
Later on. One of somebody else, not the marshal, has like captured one of the creatures. It acts like a normal rat, but you know it's an escaped rat because there's no other rats in this facility other than these escaped rats. and it acts like a normal rat until it perceives it has an opportunity to like latch on to one of you. And otherwise, it will behave as a normal rat unless it is threatened with a bad time, like fire. And it is an immediate reaction. It will immediately act to defend itself and to get away from the fire in a level of ferocity not seen by other rats. Now, these take hard containment. You can't just put them in an animal cage. They take like a solid box that you have to put them into in order for them to be maintained in containment. It seems like whatever Lee did to break through quarantine has damaged one of the main doors for the quarantine, possessing a strength not available to normal humans, kind of thing, just to set that stage.
Damn it, her thighs.
Good. Okay, good. Let's see here. A couple other things to mention that you have learned. Doesn't seem like it cares about inorganic matter. Like I said, bullets didn't seem to have much of effect, though this shotgun did seem to chunk it into pieces. But then those pieces were able to act independently, right? Yeah. And just to put like ante it up a little bit, one of the scientists says, if this creature, whatever it is, were to escape the planet, and let's say it went to, one of our home worlds, they call out like, Volkov, how many people on your home planet? You go, 4.6 billion, and they said, well, something like this that's able to assimilate and do this sort of like mimicry of a thing, like a perfect mimicry of a creature, 4.6 billion, it could fall in a handful of years. If you think about this sort of creature and how quickly it was able to try and assimilate, and how quickly Lee was able to convert these animals into this other thing, it was stunningly fast. And so you have this kind of consideration, this kind of weight on everybody's shoulders as the group's helipad comes in and lands next to the station, and you all begin entering the facility through one of the airlocks. Everybody is kind of in a common space, discovering or discussing what they found out and what they've shared. And thus ends Act 2. Let's see here. I think the other thing in Act 2 that we really need to cover is that what is it? The other thing to cover is that you do find at some point, even though comms have been restored planet-wide, Mueller, upon returning and learning everything that happened, snuck away from the group and damaged the comms array, and is currently in lockdown. Now Mueller professes to not be a stranger, but damaged the comms array in order to prevent someone to signal for help. It is Mueller's belief that if people came here, that this would find a method to leave the planet. And so Mueller kind of took it upon himself to decide that that no signal can leave this planet. It will not call for help. It will not ask for reinforcements. And that's a decision that Mueller made, and is currently sitting in some kind of confinement while the group decides what to do and how to address this problem. Hey, buddy. Hey, bud. When did you go to bed?
It's like, okay.
Yeah, I know how that is.
Oh my gosh. So I think the things to kind of figure out before we get into Act 3. One, the community needs to devise a test. You need to find a way to discern who is a stranger and who is not. And so the group will need to maybe let's take a minute here and kind of talk about some ideas and come up with some a test or a thing that you could conduct in order to discern who is a stranger and who is not.
Did Lee have blood?
Yes.
So say, do they bleed their own blood?
Yes, Lee had blood.
I mean, the rat, right? When we were aggressive to it, it immediately responded in an instinctual, aggressive manner.
Yeah.
Only humans have the capacity to withhold aggression, to understand that this aggression is not forever. So I suggest interrogating each individual one by one and seeing which one reacts in an aggressive manner.
You mentioned that whatever this is wrapped around the skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose we have no clue if it shows up on an X-ray.
Right. Yeah, because the bones would be there. You might with like a sonogram be able to find organs or not, right?
We still have that rat that we just shake in the box every now and again to make sure it's still alive.
Sure, why not?
Rat.
Why not?
We use that to test if an X-ray is.
Yeah, you run it through the X-ray suite that you have. It's a little dicey. It's a little scary at one moment because the containment that it's in is probably metal, right? And so there's like this effort where you all like very carefully put it into a like thick glass container of some kind so that the X-ray can work without the thing breaking containment. But we won't roll for that. We'll just say that was like an arduous task. And you did scan the rat, and though it has bones, well, the X-ray only sees the bones. But it looks like a rat because of the skeletal structure. But yeah, and then it probably like tries to break out, and you guys had to like burn it or something like that.
Oh yeah. Look, this is the only test that works. Okay, doctor, you will be the conscience in this matter, and I will figure out. People can watch. We'll do it one by one, and then when that person is cleared, we will undo their bindings, and they will no longer be under suspicion.
But what if the concern is maybe the animals act exclusively with aggression, but if they copy a human, they have our level of thinking? Lee was able to infiltrate.
It's the only option I think that we have, and at least it'll be something crossed off the list with minimal damage.
Well, just step up. You know, we're already here. We're in the theme. Let's keep going with that.
Yeah.
They do not seem to like fire. Test it with heat. Heat up an iron, put it on the person. If they act normally, they act normally. If they do not, then we have an answer.
I don't know about you, but most people react negatively to fire.
Yes, but not like those did. They like away.
All right, so I'll get the flamethrower. Tie everyone down.
I think just a match would work.
Just in case. The flamethrower, just the little light will be ignited, right? And every individual has to show that they can put their finger in it.
And Belle says, well, what if you're the stranger? I want the flamethrower too.
No.
Who do we trust with the flamethrower?
I'm the fucking marshal, all right?
And I'm
the law.
I stand closer to Belle because
balance
she's my
this.
buddy. Or they're my buddy.
We're going to test
like,
you first, officer.
That's fair.
All right.
That's fine.
All right.
What if we just pass around a singular match?
No. The matches go out.
That would burn out.
Yeah, but if
A
you
box
just
of
light
matches.
another one, a box of matches.
What if does anyone have like a lighter or something?
I'm getting my flamethrower.
Yeah.
I mean, there is someone that is a smoker here.
Kita Kid, they show up and Kidda the kid shows up and says, "Yeah, I got my lighter."
The fuck you smoking for?
And they they flip open their lighter and like turn it on and like run their fingers over the thing and say, "See, easy."
All right, officer, you first.
The officer like puts out his hand and withdraws it.
Okay. All right.
Do
Who's
the
next?
little like lick my finger thing and just like grab the flame.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, you do this and yeah, you're obviously not the stranger, as you can
Doctor.
see on your character sheet.
I'll do it. Why not? I'll hold my thumb in the flame for a second.
Yeah, awesome. And
what if my character says I have like 6 arms? Does that mean I'm something, or is that normal? I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, doctor, you are not. You test just fine. You put your hand over the flame, and you do not roil away in abject terror.
All right.
I put my hand through as well, just to show everyone I'm not.
Yeah, Pincer is clean and safe, freshly off the helicopter. You didn't touch any of this stuff.
All right. We'll just go down one by one. I'm gonna have my flamethrower pointed at each one of them.
Yeah, some people take issue with that. I'm sure. Like, hey, look, if I am, then I am, and you can flame me then. But like, you don't have to do it. Can you just point it away from me at first? Like, some people like grouse at this, but each person
they can grouch at it. I have the flamethrower.
Each person places their hand over the flame and withdraws it without issue. Every single human here. And then they all look at you, Marshall.
Okay, all right. He'll take the lighter and light it, burn a little bit of his hand.
Yeah, you hold it a little extra long just to prove the point that you are not the stranger.
I am no scientist. Does that mean we're all fine, or did the test not work?
Test didn't work. Obviously, we're not fine. Someone here is not who they appear to be.
The storm wrecks the station right around now, hammering it, really testing all of the preparations you all made. The temperature inside drops. You're not freezing, but everybody needs to go put on coats and get dressed for colder climate, because this station is no longer comfortable to be in. And there's this moment where kind of everybody needs to disperse.
This is Act 2 still?
This is beginning of Act 3.
Well, it's beginning of Act 3. Well, my agenda is a little different, but
yeah,
still, maybe we should continue to do our buddy system. We go. I'm sure see if we can go to each person's room. I'll go last. I can stay cold. It's fine.
Yeah. Folks, I will need to take a break because I have a little one to put back to bed.
Yes.
Just play the thing in the background. And it's fine.
I'm sure it'll see great.
I was gonna make a comment about how yearly there's a thing watch in, like, I think this Edmondson Scott Antarctic base, and I feel like we should do that in our base right now.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, guys. We'll take a quick break. I'm gonna play the interview again for people that might not have been here see it the first time around to learn about this while we're on break. So we'll be back in like 10 or 15. Be right back, guys.
Hey, welcome to Weave the Tale. My name is Mitchell, aka Mother for the time being, or whatever avatar I choose to use today. But we have a very special guest, and the reason why you can't see me is we have Scott. Scott, introduce yourself, and why are you here?
Hi, I'm Scott Gajewski. I am the designer for the Alien RPG homebrew scenario, The Stranger They Come.
And truly stranger they come. After reading it, I couldn't help but initially see the influence from one of my favorite movies. But how did it come about? You were playing Alien, and you must have saw a need, and so you wrote this. So how? Why? Why did it start?
Yes. Well, without giving away the influence, because if you know the influence, the events of the scenario will be very apparent. But as with many other people, I am a fan of a certain movie that came out in the 80s, as well as other movies that are part of that franchise and the original short story. I was inspired in part because when I first started playing the Alien RPG scenario, one of the things that's special about it is that players are given personal agendas. And in what the system calls a cinematic scenario, which is usually like a one shot or like a very limited number of sessions, you give the players secret agendas, which may not line up with the other players. And so not only are the players having to deal with the same sort of challenges that are in any other RPG, the monsters and whatever else, they have to worry about each other. And sometimes the players can be their own worst enemy. And so this particular scenario and the influence seem to fit very naturally to that sort of gameplay.
And you created some very unique additions to the alien system within the scenario. Can you expound upon that? Because I think that was really cool what you did with the player agendas as well as the different cards and stuff.
Sure. So in addition to what is standard for the Alien RPG scenario, I included for like table play something I call true intent cards. So in the course of the gameplay, you have a player claiming to do a certain thing. Oh, I'm going to check out this room. I'm going to fix this thing. And they may or may not be doing that based on their agenda. Since this scenario so very heavily relies on what the player intends to actually do, there are these what I call true intent cards. So whenever you do a certain action, the person running the game in the system, the game mother, the GM, may request that player to give them a true intent card. And so the player has one of two cards, and they can either give, depending on which intent they're following, they can either give the game mother a card that basically says, yeah, I'm doing the thing that I'm claiming to do. Or they give them a card that says, I'm doing the thing my agenda is telling me to do. And based on which card they give, the game mother can then weave the story appropriately based on that intent. Now, disclaimer, the GM can run the scenario in a certain way where even the player might not necessarily know. So those cards don't always come up into play, but it is common. It is kind of the default for the scenario to use those cards.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the uniqueness of it, and I think it definitely adds a lot to the play. But I guess what would be the main theme of this adventure, and how do you think this new mechanic really fits the mold for this thing?
Sure. So the themes rather for this scenario are distrust and desolation. The setting is all about the desolation. It's this isolated, cold, windy, stormy place cut off from civilization. There's seemingly no signs of life anywhere. There's no easy way to call for help. And that feeds into the other theme of distrust. These people are ostensibly working together, but they come from very different backgrounds, different nationalities, and of course, different agendas. And so as this scenario unfolds, the players are going to be, and the characters that they play are going to be encouraged to be distrustful of each other.
Excellent. And was this the first adventure you wrote?
To this degree, yes. this is the first.
What would you give, I guess, for advice or anyone else who would like to do something like this?
Sure. Just as with any creative endeavors, researching both whatever system we're setting or influences that you're looking, get as much of that influence as you can. Don't be afraid to think outside the box too, like the things that might not necessarily be obvious that can help you out, your day-to-day stuff. And then most systems, including this one, have some means of giving you a template to work with, even if that template is their other official products. You can look at the other official products and see, all right, well, in Alien for RPG, for instance, they break it down for the cinematics. There's a what's the story mother? That's what you introduce to the players. They have the situation, the person as the game mother, what's actually going on. Your characters that you're going to give to your players and your agendas, the location that it's set in, how the official scenarios break down each room that the players can explore, and then events, which my favorite way to think about any RPG scenario is it's kind of like a cookbook. It's a recipe. It's not a script necessarily, because your players are the stars. They're your actors. They will influence how that plays out. So as the person running the scenario, you basically have ingredients for how that plays out. And in this case, that would be events. What kind of events can you work in? Some of them are mandatory, and others are optional as the game mother wishes to direct the scenario.
Excellent. So, last question. Why Alien? And then follow up, what's next for you?
I am a huge fan of the Alien franchise. More so even as I got into the role-playing scenario. I mean, I enjoyed the movies and the video games and things like that. But once I picked up the role-playing game, and so much of the art and lore and the game mechanics involving the stress and panic that the player characters can experience, that really emulates that horror movie vibe, where the fear is sometimes the biggest enemy. And so that's something I like both about the setting and the system. The setting, just this, sci-fi horror mix, it's like the OG body horror. And this influence is definitely, the influence for this scenario is another key body horror example. So yeah, that's what I love about the system and the setting. And then what's next? So I am looking to make more Alien RPG scenarios. They're in various stages of development right now. Some of them have their own influences and lengths of play and things of that nature. It's difficult to say which one will be ready next, but I can say one will be influenced by the classic video game Doom.
Nice.
There's one that's influenced by a couple movies that's a little more obscure. There's a 1977 movie called Sorcerer, which has influences in itself from a 50s movie called The Wages of Fear. There's another one-shot, strictly one-shot scenario that's just basically everything I love about the Alien movies meshed together. I've gotten to playtest that already, so it's just a matter of officially writing that out so people can run it themselves. So those are some of the ones I'm tinkering with.
Awesome. Well, thank you for showing up. I definitely hope that the players enjoy it. Well, that's a guarantee. I hope that they survive. I know that's not.
That is not
Yeah, it's
guaranteed.
not on the table. So, one last word to the players. We're about to jump into your scenario. Any advice, words of comfort?
Oof. Distrust can be both a tool to survival and a double-edged sword. I wish I could remember the quote from Ash from the first movie.
Oh God, yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, but essentially, your chances for survival are not guaranteed, and yeah, just always be on the watch. Look out.
Excellent.
Three, 2, 1.
All right, welcome back. So we rejoin our expedition. We've made it through Act 1 and 2 in a narrative style, right? No rolling. We just kind of made some decisions and presumed things went as well as they could. We are currently separated as a group. Everybody's paired up with somebody except for Mueller. Mueller is in a holding cell of some sort behind a locked door for having smashed the comms array. Now, that being said, all of you are getting ready for the arrival of the storm, which is currently hammering the station. You've all paired off with your various people, and now is probably the time for us to talk about Alien the system, because you can now start to roll dice. Now, this game is made by Free League, and one of their big contributions is the concept of the push mechanics. And so the way this works is if there's something you want to do, let me know, and you're going to roll that skill. It's a dice pool system, so you're going to have a bunch of D6s you're going to roll, and it's going to be based on the skill plus the attribute. That'll be the pool. Now, if you fail a roll, which is possible or even likely in some scenarios, you can tell me, I'm going to push. My character is going to try extra hard, and they're going to take on some stress. And when you take on stress, you add a die to your pool and roll again. Okay? The extra die is really nice because you have extra chances of winning, but get enough stress and you're more and more likely to roll panic. Now, initially, you might not have enough stress to really make you do anything. You might be okay, a little shaken, but okay. But if you really are pretty far into stress and then roll a thing, you're going to roll a lot of dice. It's going to be pretty awesome, but you're probably going to panic. And the state of the panic, like what you do in that panic state, really depends on how stressed you are when you go off. So,
boy.
yeah. So, just kind of keep that in mind. Removing stress. If you are able to take a significant rest, like not like a D&D long rest, but like if you're able to give yourself like 10, 15, 20 minutes of safety, you can remove a point of stress. You will also have an object with you that at any point you can take what's called a slow action to interact with your object. Rub your rabbit's foot for good luck. and that will also remove 1 point of stress for the whole game. So it's like a one-time use. You get to take away 1 point of stress if you feel like you're getting too stressed, right? But those are the two primary ways in which you pull away stress. A little bit of stress is nice. It focuses you, makes you better. Too much stress puts you at danger of being a liability. Now, Marshall, I described earlier that you went through panic, and your character probably did go through stress, but you have had you have had a number of moments between then and now to gather yourself and reduce your stress. So for the purposes of this game, I want all of us to start with 1 stress. Just so we have something in the game. We have something we've already anteed. We've been through a lot. To think you've all made it to this point without any stress is foolhardy, but I don't want to overly punish you because you really didn't have a chance to adjust that or have a say in any of that kind of stuff. So we'll start there. Now, while we are separated, if any of you want to look for things, do some knowledge checks, some investigation type stuff, talk to the person you're in the room with, any of that kind of stuff, that's reasonable while you're in this space. I want to give a beat for this scene while we're all in separate spaces. Let's go ahead and just assume it's taking everybody 15 to 20 minutes to gather all their clothes, cold weather gear, get them all in the same room, like get off the stuff you need to get off, put on the stuff you need to put on while you're in a room with another person. So you probably don't want to you probably want to have some sense of modesty, all those sorts of things. So it takes a little bit for everybody to get through this. And while we're in this time, I want to give all of you a chance to feel your characters for a second, do something. So anybody who has an idea of what they'd like to do now, by all means, hit me up.
Yeah, I think sorry, go ahead, Tay.
No, go ahead.
When I'm in the room with Officer Bell, right? That's their name.
Yeah.
There's no there's no ceremony for modesty. You just go and drop trout and get some of his warm underwear on and everything. He puts a little picture of his daughter into the front coat pocket of his jacket. And as he does so, staring at Belle, he's going to say, "Next time, I don't want you second guessing me.
Okay.
I understand you're in control of this base, but when people are in danger, that's the area of my control. Okay, and what I'm doing is for the safety of yourself and for everyone else. And when you put that into question, then it's difficult for me to do my job."
Marshall, Damon, I understand the position you're in. We're all in a difficult position. I will, it's my job as the officer here to think, frankly, bigger picture. And so what I promise to you is that if I have concerns, I will do my best to bring those up with you privately so that we can manage them without disturbing order. I completely agree. We need order in order to make it through this. But those of us who make it through this, we need to answer for what is done here, right? And I don't want us to regret actions. And I felt it was appropriate to gut check you on the threat, the explicit threat of death. Though I do understand what you're trying to do. I just want us to work together to make that happen. Okay. Is that all right?
I want to live and see my daughter again. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the bigger picture for me. I remember there was this accident on a station where an individual had an infection on their leg. And in the moment, the doctor felt it was the best thing to saw their leg off. We didn't have any pain medication or anything like that, so we held this person down as they screamed for the next couple of minutes. It takes a long time to saw through bone and flesh. A couple days later, we discovered that that wasn't necessary, that the kid probably would have pulled through with the leg still intact. But we made a call in the moment, and I suggested to everyone that they do not spend another minute regretting what could have been. So I understand, and I think from here on out we see eye to eye. I just want to get home.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Very much so.
Yeah, with that, he's just going to get his clothes on and get ready to meet everyone else. Maybe looking
Did you
forward
do
to
that
them.
whole conversation like with no clothes on?
Yeah, like in the process of like
Yeah.
stripping and putting his stuff on. It's like I think the cook is gonna do some biscuits with flayed meat or something like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Let's see here. I need to do.
You ain't gotta do nothing because everything's fine.
I know.
Everything's fine. We're gonna make it through this. Okay.
Do I roll panic because I'm self-conscious about my body?
Yes, that's right.
Like I was very like confident when I first started stripping, and then it was like, oh wait, I haven't
we're having
seen
this
in a while.
conversation. Now they're looking
Yeah,
at me. Oh.
yeah. The
Here's
image
what-
I had in my mind of my body was different than reality.
No, you're good. You're good. You're totally fine. Being super cool like that. And I think that Belle, mirrors that, right? Like tries to match that energy of like confidence. And there's this like maybe this is like a thing that happens between like leaders, is to say like, okay, we are both confident and comfortable in our own skin to this level, right? And then like maybe a little bit of a power play between the two of you as you gauge, are we both cool enough to have this conversation while in the buff, right?
And I'll like I'll stare appropriately. Like
Right.
I'm not gonna look away. But
Belle
I'm
doesn't.
I'm gonna be like,
Just like,
I've been on this research station alone for a long time. Belle does
yeah, like I'm gonna nod when I look at her, be like,
not. Mhm.
like just in the middle of the story, just like, Damn.
I wonder what brought up the conversation of the cook's meat.
Womp.
It'll be like, was it Starship Troopers? We need 5 more minutes.
I
That was
love
an
it.
old
That's
reference.
Love it.
So we stare at each other's naked bodies with the confidence of leaders and get ready to show a confident face to everyone as I kind of sweep my hair back and fix my beard a little bit. Maybe unflex my tummy now that it's covered in soft puff now.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, while you all are having that scene, is there anybody else that has something that they would like to do or a discussion they'd like to have?
yeah. I mean, I'm with Kita.
Yeah.
Just kind of, trying to keep an eye out, keep everything safe. I feel like it's a very awkward, like, I don't know how to talk to children. They're 17 though. Does that make them a kid anymore? What? How are you doing?
Yeah.
Doesn't know how to like small talk.
Yeah, right. Keith's like, Volkov, thanks. I'm glad that it was really weird with the lighter. I thought, I thought something was going to happen, but then like nothing happened.
I am sure it's because we are all totally fine and in the clear. Though maybe I don't want you to isolate by any means, but maybe be careful and just if anyone is acting a little odd, keep your distance from them.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Can I just stick with you? You're like a Marine, right? Like you're dangerous.
I am very, very tough. And Taylor does not muscle, so
Oh man.
Absolutely. I will gladly have you be my company for the rest of this adventure, whatever that may be. Keep the lighter close by. That seems very helpful.
Yeah.
And it, I don't know. Maybe also just. I'm trying to put on a very tough face, but I honestly do not quite understand what is happening either. But I'm good at reading people.
Okay.
So.
Good.
I have a journal.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, thank you.
What do you have that lighter for anyway?
I smoke every so often.
Wonderful.
I mean,
that is what I was hoping your answer would be. Do you want to just like take a little second to just chill the fuck out? Because that was very heavy.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. I mean, I don't have
Yeah.
many left. But right now it feels really good. And she like opens a very small like fanny pack. And inside is like one of those like clear plastic envelopes, and it's like a single row of cigarettes, right? And there's like 3 left, and it looks like she had like 7 at one point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she like very like in a kind of a shaky hand like pulls it out and like and like looks at her supply, and you can see it dawning on her that like I'm almost out of cigarettes. I kind of don't want to be out of cigarettes. And like for a moment that becomes like the biggest problem in her world. Just for a
Right.
moment, right? And
That's a good problem to have compared to our other ones.
Yeah, and she like her hand's still kind of shaking as she like gets it lit. And you watch as she like slowly does calm down. And a bit of the stress that she's been going through leaves her body as she has this like moment with you and you know uses her precious object and like offers you a drag. You want some?
Yeah, I'll take like the tiniest of little puffs so that way I don't have a bunch. But it's like, we're camaraderie, we're like having this sharing this moment, but I don't want to like legitimately take away your comfort.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I do like I do believe that my odds of figuring this out have grown exponentially with you on my side.
Okay. Good. I feel like maybe you should get one of those flamethrowers, right? Because you're like dangerous. Yeah. You would be another good person, I think.
I normally would see Belle by this point in time. I don't quite know what they are busy with, but I will work on getting that ASAP because I am very tough. I can handle myself.
Yeah. That's great. That's awesome.
This is up. They're not that great. It's mostly pudgy, but it's like there's muscles under there somewhere. Yeah, just keeping an eye, trying to make sure keep this calm down a little bit,
Yeah.
and then looking for Belle or Mueller. No, not Mueller. Midge's character. Dumont.
Yes.
At some
yeah.
point in time after we all get back up together.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Before we get everybody back together, though, Joshy or Penter, any of you have scenes you want to do or investigations you'd like to make while you have this kind of moment to yourselves?
Just the briefest like touch on something with Samara. I gave Samara the gun earlier.
Yeah,
Do you still have it, Samara?
I do. Do you want it back? I
Yes,
didn't. I haven't
actually.
used it, right? So, yeah, of course. We're gonna stick together through this, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I feel like really this pushes against my oath a lot. I have no clue what's going on here.
Yeah, we need to figure this out. You know, like I'm really nervous. And I'm really glad that we have you here. You know, we'll figure out a test. You know, something that I don't think was mentioned. I would, you know, like there were all those burn marks, right, at the site. I kind of wonder if some people fought back.
I
And
think
like,
that's a good insight. And the crash site was recent, but there were no bodies.
yeah, right. So who was in the crash?
Well, no idea.
Okay.
For my chronology, there's no way that with the timing of the crash happening after Earl came back, there's no way that was Earl who was actually in that.
That's a really good question. Okay, so things got a little confusing there. They arrived at the station first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you all dealt with those problems. And then on your trek to the place, you saw a recent crash site. But it is entirely possible on the timeline of events that Earl and someone else, maybe Lee, were involved in that crash. Both survived and escaped and made it to the research facility because it was close enough to the facility that like you wouldn't have died on the trek over, right? It would have been like within a few kilometers kind of deal. So it is conceivable that they were both on that vehicle. It crashed while Earl was piloting it and they made it here. There are a couple of things that could be done to ascertain more knowledge. You do have a pilot here, Rios. Rios could check the logs of the helicopter, and we could retcon and say you guys nabbed the logs, thinking that like you would bring them to Rios later to review. Also, probably somebody here has some like some comm tech skill and would be able to like dig through the logs of the android and see what records were residing in his data banks and see if there's some knowledge that you could gain out of that too.
That was also my other question, is if we could get someone to do that. My first thought for that would be, and I'll say this to Samara, we might want to talk to Mueller a little bit about just what was up with Earl.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. Yeah. So like he's getting his big like parka, you know, and he's got this like really nice like yellow parka on. Like he's probably like the most fashionable person here, and or maybe not the most, but a fashionable person here, and says that's yeah. I agree. Let's look at this stuff. See if we can figure out what was going on with those two.
Sounds good. And I think just to describe what Joshy's, I'm wearing trying to wear very dexterous gloves.
Yeah.
With things I could move my hands in reasonably well. And I don't think I have any supplies in my like sleeping area. I would have to go to the med bay to get anything else. I think that's it.
All right. So the two of you will leave and start doing those two things. Sorry. Go ahead, Casa.
Yeah, no, it's just then I felt like I was the last. So
Yeah, of course.
Penta is talking to Partha, another scientist, and she's fiddling with like this 4-leaf clover like pin that's on her jacket. She's wearing like a big fluffy jacket.
Yeah.
And you can tell that she doesn't really care about anyone. All she's asking is, do you think the plants are okay? Shouldn't we go check on them? But I don't know if it's safe. I don't want to get involved in all that, but we can't leave the plants there.
Yeah. Partha says, I'm with you. What if we like made the greenhouse like safe? I know there was something that happened in there. We could like make sure that nothing else is still like crawling around or whatever in there. And then that could be like, we can just kind of like lock it. And, once they figure out a test, if they're good, they can come in. If they're not, they can't. But yeah, let's go check on those plants. I think that's a great idea.
But I mean, I also worry about my life, and of course yours too, Penta. Should we bring others just in case?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it seemed like that test wasn't very good. So I'm a little worried that, like, I was expecting, like, I don't know. I was expecting something, and I don't know if we caught all the little rats that got away. So I definitely want to have like, I don't know, a baseball bat or something, or like I want something to help me kill a rat, and something to protect me from, people. I know you're the same, I trust you. So yeah, if there's some other people that we trust, sure, but I don't know until we get a test.
That's true.
If I want to go any bigger than you.
That's true. Penta's walking around trying to look for something sharp or something to defend herself or kill rats with.
Yeah. Roll me. Tell you what. While you're looking around, roll me 2d6.
Oh, okay. Like just.
Yeah, on the character sheet, I think you can roll 2d6, or if you have 2d6 with you, you can roll them. And I will find the like rando stuff you can just get, because these rooms have things.
Like that.
They have gear and stuff around. What did you get there? I just gotta find my mouse.
6 and a 3.
Cool. And let me find the list of things. 2 seconds. Sorry about that. Okay. Well, in the interest of time, I'm going to say that you find a I haven't found it. I'm sorry for not having this like at the ready. But here it is. Here it is. You find a personal med kit stashed away in one of the drawers of this room, and inspired by you, Penter does not Penter. Our friend here does the exact same. And I'm just gonna. Oh gosh, I don't want to roll it as the stranger. Hold on a second. Let me see if I have their character here. Partha. Yeah, there we go. I'll roll it as Partha, just so you all aren't like, that was the stranger. We saw it in the chat. Yeah. So, okay, a 12. Sweet. So you get this personal med kit, and Parts is like, what? Oh, this is great. Here, let me. And like, she like pops like a panel, like a maintenance panel, and inside there is like a vermin eradicator unit. It's an incinerator. It's like a little mobile incinerator unit. That is like a like a short range flamethrower, and she's like, oh, we're in a good place, right? Medkit, this, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be really good.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then they go out.
Yeah, and she stuffs it in her coat. She's like, I don't want any, this is between us. She like stuffs it in her coat. Okay.
I don't trust her. This is my first distrust, and it's meta.
Yes. All right. So you all, leave your various rooms. People are filtering out of these rooms like onesie twosie, right? You all see each other in the halls. A couple of you in the break rooms. I think there was some initial like action items right away, right? Because I think that Milan, you had a couple of things that you wanted to check into right away. So let's do that and see what results for those, because that's like really good investigative stuff. So the first thing would have been you were going to check the logs of the helicopter and the logs of the android, right?
Yeah. I think my first inclination is to go for the logs of the android first.
Sure.
Yeah, because I specifically want to know what task they were trying to do immediately upon coming back before even trying to get repaired.
Yeah, excellent. So that would be a comms check. Comm tech to get in there, find those logs. Do you have that, or does somebody else have comm tech?
I do not, and I don't suspect our geologist does either. So can we go to Mueller?
Yeah, let's go talk to Mueller.
And I'll be bringing the android with me, I guess.
You got the head, you got the thing.
Scoop up as much of it as I can from all of the parts that were just blown out across the marshal's office.
Yeah. So Mueller is our company agent, right? So he's the one who's really after like company interests here at the base.
I don't trust him either.
Yeah. So, but you don't trust him for like career reasons, right?
Yeah. Just I've never trusted him.
Yeah. Exactly. So he has wits for Comtech 3, so that's 7. We'll say that he's got 1 stress. So let me Mueller. I was lazy and did not fill in everybody's like character sheets, so I'll just do like I'm just gonna write it out. Comtech and 7, and he's got a stress, so we'll roll it. I gotta see this. Okay, so he succeeds in cracking open the android. And do you talk to me about the setup here? Do you have it as just the 3 of you, or is this something you want others to see? And this is like, now it kind of matters, like what information percolates, who knows what, this kind of stuff starts to matter. So what's the setup when you
I think it's just the 3 of us for the moment.
Okay.
Because my immediate thought is, if there's something particularly bad, people are going to panic instantly, and I do not want that.
Yeah.
In addition, I'll let Mueller out of the brig.
Yeah. Awesome.
Assuming I can. I don't have the thing to. I don't know if I have that clearance or whatever.
I think that between the lot of you, you can get him out. And that was probably a part of getting Mueller to help, was like, hey, I have like the galaxy's best interest at heart here. You can trust me. But I got to get out of here. If I'm going to help at all, I got to get out of here. So there's some step you all took to get him out of the brig. And I don't want to futz with that one too much. I just want to get into this part, right? And so, he rolls, and cracks open the android, and like you see that Mueller does edit what you all can see. He like skips past some things and gets only to today's log, right? Like there's probably some history on this android that he like is tangentially aware of and just wants to like get right to the meat of the thing.
Can I try like skimming that as he's trying to skip to get like?
Give me an observation. Yeah, sure. This is great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just click the button in the Roll20 sheet, right?
Yeah, click the button and it should figure it all out.
All right. I think I did that correctly.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you got 2. Good job. So you, or actually, yeah, you got 2. So you check, like, see these things. Earl here, he was Earl. What is it? He was stolen along with a bunch of other androids. And he was reprogrammed and used in underground fighting rings. As you see all of these like blood matches where there weren't supposed to be androids in that blood match, but there was one, right? And like you can see just the scantest flash of like all of these like bouts and like whether or not he threw the fight or won the fight, right? And just like this very quick, like Earl was a like an illegal fighter. Okay, cool. So yeah, Earl was apparently very good at killing on your station. And then you see the logs of the day. So the team gets to the facility and investigates. And initially everything's fine. It's this like ancient corpse. The people who were in that room started like trying to isolate themselves with other people. And at some point, the expedition group, the 20-something people, realized that something was going on and that not everybody was who they said they were. And they had devised a test. And you can see the test happen because Earl is there. Earl is a trusted partner in all of this. And what they were doing was they were drawing samples of blood and exposing that blood to open flame. And the blood itself would move away from the fire. And as soon as that happened, Earl watched this person destroy the 2 people who devised the test. And Earl murdered that person with vengeance and fire, and then began conducting the test with abandon, like would forcibly draw blood from people. And if they like Earl was like in full, I must defend everybody. And my method to do that is to conduct the test and murder anything that's not human. And did that brutally and quickly until Earl was alone with Lee. And Lee had originally tested fine. But by the end of Earl's killing spree, had been converted without Earl knowing. And Lee had gotten him on the helicopter to come back with a good report that they had done well. You have a question?
I want to like role play with Mueller for a moment.
Okay, so there's a little bit more to this. If you want to let the thing play out before
yes, I would like to hear it.
Okay, so in the flight back, there's this moment where Earl asks Lee, "Hey, what happened to your golden tooth?" And Lee says, "What golden tooth?" And Earl puts it together. You see in the log, inorganics not present on converted individuals. And he begins to try and crash the thing that he's flying. And she fights him to save the vehicle. And they have like a knife fight while not crashing this thing. And eventually it runs into the ground, but not hard enough to kill them both. And Lee walks away. And Earl watches in like a static, damaged state and begins to patch himself together while in this like barely working state, and gets up to try and find Lee, knowing that she has been converted. But he is too damaged from the crash to be able to speak. And then you all see him arrive and the events that transpired there, where he was eventually put down.
As the station's medical officer, do I know what people have inorganic things?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Not everybody does, but you know a few people, you know.
Okay. I'm going to be looking for those every time I'm interacting with someone, I guess.
Can you open your mouth real quick? I gotta check your filling.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming also the
toothache you're
station's
complaining
dentist.
about?
Yeah.
Be like, guys, my nipple ring is just kind of for me and for me alone.
Yeah. You can't see the beauties, you know.
You gotta pay first.
This is amazing. We can do the test again. We can figure this out.
Yeah, I agree. So we extract blood and we expose it to flame, right? That's what the test that Earl saw, right? That would work.
Yes.
We just have to get everybody's blood.
That's easy. I mean, I can. If you forget, and I pull out my surgical kit, I'm sure there's a needle in there.
Totally. And you have a whole like medic bay, you know, full of supplies to do exactly this job. You absolutely have what you need to do this test.
When he sabotaged the communicator, did that destroy station communication or just out?
No, just the satellite dish, really. Just the dish out to off planet. So like Mueller is like, look, the dish, like he's like, between us. Okay, first of all, we should do the test real quick. Can the three of us do the test real quick just to make sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna test both of them first and then myself.
Yeah. Mueller's like, I see what you're doing here. Yeah, Mueller is clean.
Okay.
And who are you with again?
Samara.
Samara's clean.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And you test yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'll test myself in front of them. I'm fine.
Awesome. Yeah. You're clean too.
Are you a dirty boy?
Yeah. Are you a dirty boy?
I'm not going to refuse to do the test in front of them after I just tested both of them.
Yeah. And there's this moment where like Mueller is watching you like a hawk, like he watches your hands while you're drawing the blood and all of that kind of stuff. Like he's carefully observing to make sure there's no funny business on the sample collection and all that kind of stuff. Like he's like, look, I trust you, but that looked like a clean draw. Thank you.
Maybe this will incentivize you to actually fulfill the Tylenol orders I put in because we need that.
Look, if we make it through this, I'll make sure you have all the Tylenol you could ever want. Okay? But we have to make it through this first. So the three of us are clean for now, right? This is good. This is very, very good. The comms array should not come back online until we know that everybody is clean or dead.
Agreed.
Okay.
Let's go to the med bay and set up.
Okay. And so you all make your way to the med bay. And let's switch scenes real quick. We have let's see here. Maybe let's check in Dumont. You were in there with Belle. The two of you kind of had that powwow about like effective leadership. Where does Dumont go after this?
I mean, to the doctor, right? He and I were friends. We trust each other.
Yeah.
I think if anything's gonna get done, it'll be with the doctor.
Yeah, I'm
keeping my flamethrower though.
Yeah, Gotcha. Got it. So yeah, you initially look like in the doctor's room where you knew that he was like, oh, it looks like he's already like gotten out, and is around. So you go to your office. You go to the marshal's office, and in there you have your camera suite. Okay. And you're able to look through all the security cams throughout the facility, and you see the doctor, Mueller, and Samara having a discussion, and the body of the android is laid out in front of them. You can't hear the discussion, but as soon as it's concluded, you see the three of them leave. Maybe they're down in the lower section of the research facility, and they're like taking the stairs to get back up right now. And Mueller is out, is no longer imprisoned.
Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna go to the cook.
Okay. Yeah, you find Volkov. Where does he find you on the cams, or are you just like nearby?
Yeah, I mean, I was probably heading that way with Kita, because I would also like flamethrower or see what help. I feel like I have more use to the station than just making potatoes.
Yeah, so
that's very important.
Biscuits.
Yeah, so real quick on finding stuff.
Mhm.
There is the ability, if you're in a room that has not been like ransacked already, then you can roll, and
Yeah. Then maybe I'm in like my kitchen-y area, looking, seeing it like I had the med kit, but then there was also a hammer at one point in time. I'm just like searching.
Yeah.
Cool.
So go ahead and give me an observation roll.
Okay. Observation. Where is that? Oh, I have a little bit in that.
There you go.
No, I don't.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you dig through, and it's like nothing of interest. Like
Yeah.
oh, knives, sure. Things, yeah, but like nothing
This
that is
is
like
not going to help me.
immediately useful. Now I say that in like all of these rooms, like if I look at the kitchen area. The kitchen knife is probably the most like important item in here. It's like, all right, now I got a knife. So that's good. That's helpful. But there's like enough food here, water for a day or two. Like there's plenty of stuff here from a supplies perspective.
So like taking stock, because people hopefully will live, and I'm making sure we're all fed. Taking stock.
Yeah.
Showing Kita where everything is, just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when I see you coming up, I'm just like, it's just the individual I was going to come see next. How are you doing, Marshall?
Hey, you've been with. Who's your buddy? Can you confirm?
Kita.
Yeah, Kita's in the room. She's like over at the counter, like fiddling with this frying pan, like just like giving the wrist a check, like I don't know, sure. And like Kita has like
I just walk over and I take that one out of her hand, and I grab one that's got a little longer handle and a little bit better leverage.
Yeah. Oh, all right, good.
See, it's heavier here, but more to hold on to.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
You guys need something better to protect yourselves with.
That is what I was going to come get you for. Yeah.
And I can trust you. Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Of course.
Just so I'm worried that you or someone else might take the opportunity to ransack the weapons room. I don't know if I want both.
I was not going to ransack. I was more going to ask you if I could have something with some flames in it, because I have quite the past of, taking care of people and myself in more than the way of cooking food.
All right. I think I have an extra flamethrower.
Yeah, so in your office, you have 2 more incinerator units, and you're able to procure one and hand it to Volkov. And here, I'll
It's like
just
a backpack one.
yeah, let me
No
shoot
strapped
you your office's inventory in case you wanted to like hand out anything else.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, we're running the latest Mac software. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool.
Exactly. And like I said, the only other like really interesting thing in here is the video feeds, right? And you don't have total coverage of the space, but you can see a couple of things here and there. Right?
At least the bathrooms, right?
Especially not the bathrooms.
What?
like
The one
like
for you.
open halls, you know, the dining area, the comms room, you know, like the like the med bay has a camera in there. Like these are like really important ones, but like
Yeah. I like to imagine like Q back like a couple of days, and I'm like through the intercom. Hey, you missed. You didn't wash your back. Make sure.
You have like the one room combo, like hey,
Yeah. Hey,
don't
really
be a
get in
dirty
there.
boy.
Like, yeah,
Clean that
don't be
shit.
weird. Don't make this weird.
And they're like, you're the one making it weird.
Trying to make
Like,
sure
clean
you
their
wash carefully.
Okay,
All right,
Dad.
let's go find the doc. The doc's up to something with the android, so
I think I'm looking at all
he might be
the
in danger.
cams, getting my flamethrower, and I'm like, you know, I don't often wish for the worst, but you plan for it, hope for the best, you know. This room, good base of operations. You've got the airlock controls, you've got the cameras. Is there more than one exit? What's the...
Yeah, so the marshal's room, let me make sure, are we on that? Yeah, we're on that. So the marshal's room is this area I'm pinging on the map. Where yeah, so there's the quarantine airlock on one side and then the rest of the base on the other. So there's 2 doors through the marshal's office.
Yeah. I have a little bit of tactical know-how from my time in the Space Forces, but what is the doctor
If we're
doing?
going to do this, we're going to need food.
I pat
so-
my pack full of biscuits.
Potentially for an extended period of time. Do you think we could form a chain? You can pick out food. Why don't you give it to Kit? Kit will run it back here, and I'll hide it away. And then when it comes time, we'll be ready to lock ourselves in here until rescue comes. But we have to be ready to survive here for potentially months.
Well, a lot of it needs some sort of preparation, and then, I mean, I have lots of the what's it's called when it's like frozen, but it is not actually frozen. It's like suction. You know, the shit they give us for space is that we can, you know, put some things
Morning
here.
brown. No, I got you. But we have to get it ready. All right, it's work that needs to be done. If you're serious about using this place as a safeguard, we gotta start collecting food, or else they'll starve us out.
Okay. I don't quite understand how we're going to make this work, but you are my boss, so we'll get food together. I have quite a bit of biscuits; those will go bad very quickly, so we can grab freeze-dried food. But where is the doctor? What is the weird things he's doing?
Cool.
Yeah.
Before we get to the doctor,
Mhm.
I want to catch in on Penter and Partha and our like duo of scientists and their thing, because you all pass. You're walking by. Let's say you walk through the dining area. You walk by the marshal's office as they're like kind of getting kitted, and they're having this discussion of like, well, this could be a good base of operations here. And the 2 of you like round the corner. You overheard a little bit of that discussion on your way down to the bio lab. And I just want to kind of give a brief beat. As you're around this corner, you can hear some people in the stairs coming up. Sounds like 3 sets of footprints or footfalls. And the two of you are in this like kind of central space. Is there anything you'd like to do or say with Partha here while you're kind of in this transit? You've got this like nexus of things going on around you.
I think she would just be really like focused on getting there. I don't think she wouldn't pay the people that she walked past any mind.
Yeah.
And Penta's not one for like small talk, so I don't really think she would say much.
Yeah, for sure. So the two of you walk past these stairs as you see the doctor and oh, I'm so sorry, Samara and Mueller. Mueller is a surprise to you, but you see these 3 faces emerge from the steps as the two of you continue on down towards the biological lab. Now, in the lab, Partha, my apologies, Partha is very quick to like close and lock the door and like require, like change it so like only certain key cards can get in. So the two of you, she can't lock out the officer or the marshal, but she can lock out like non-necessary personnel, right? And say like, this is now under some sort of like medical or not medical, but like biological safe zone kind of thing.
Smart.
And she said, she like kind of pulls out the incinerator and says, okay, what do we do now? And your side of the lab is relatively unscathed from the combat that happened earlier, but the animal side of the lab is a wreck. Just a wreck. There's scorch marks everywhere. There's this body that has not been moved. And it looks like it's been just decimated with flame and fire. And you can see like the charred remains of a couple of rats and things like that just kind of around. And that's the kind of state of the lab and greenhouse area when you come in.
Penta's probably got gloves on, right? Or if she doesn't, she's gonna put some on, and she's gonna go towards some of the plants and see if they're not affected by the blood or anything.
Right. Give me like let's do like, oh gosh, maybe an observation. Okay. I think observation would do it. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, you good.
She really likes her plants.
Yeah. Okay, so some of this muck got onto a plant and the plant died. But it didn't like morph into another thing, into another creature. But it did like you can see where the plant was like accosted by or was like marred by the thing, and then the whole plant kind of shrivels up into a husk. But it in and of itself does not like reach out at you or anything like that. It's a dead thing. And then your other plants are relatively unscathed. Your hydroponics are going, your grow lights are going. There's various plants for both study and food here. So you have like fruits and vegetables and leafy greens and all that kind of stuff. No. And and the notorious meat plant of the land of the alien, you get to have some beef plant.
Just like this human like corpse drips off of the plant, like kill me. Like, all right, we got steak. Who likes it rare?
Wriggling. And like Partha has that incinerator, and she's like kind of like looking around. With 3 successes, I will say that you do hear like squeaking and skittering in like the vent in this room, as like there's something nearby that is like scratching at something.
That puppy.
Ooh.
You can hear this like little, just a little scratch.
Ooh. Penta's gonna like go shh to Parta as she's talking. She's holding on to the plant that's been like shriveled up, and she's a bit sad. There's like a tear that goes down her cheek, but then she lets it go and walks around and tries to see if she can find whatever, like gets closer to what's scratching.
Yeah. You get a sense pretty quickly with 3 successes. I'll just give it to you. You find the vent that it's trying to like get through, and like when you step the corner, it stops for a second, and then you wait a beat, and then you can hear it like it's almost trying to like get a little like the speed of the effort has increased a little bit.
Weird puppy.
Penta turns to Partik like quite a little worried. He's like, take the thing out, the incinerator.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think
And like you see as Parta, she like hefts this thing, and it's like a little flamethrower, right? It, maybe casts a flame of about 6 to 9 inches. It's not like a super long flame. It's not like a flamethrower. But she like has it and is kind of like pointing at the vent, like, is it right there? Is that where it is?
yeah, right there.
Okay. And like she like turns it on. You see the little pilot like, and like there's this little puff of fire that comes out for just a second, just to like get the thing going. And like you can see her body is shaking, and like the little scritching has stopped.
Did you get it?
Like there's this moment
think-
where you're both like looking at it, and like the flame didn't even get near the wall, and she's like, I don't think I got it. I wish that I did, but I don't think I got it.
Game over, man.
Game over, man.
I mean, I think if it comes, we can try to hit it again.
Yeah.
Mm.
And as you're both having this discussion, you hear the sound of like metal swinging, and all of a sudden this like beautiful African blue-haired rat drops on Penta's shoulder, and she screams bloody murder, and whirls around. You look up, you see the vent above you has opened and fallen on her, and it like the rat is quite startled at its new situation and bites Penta. And you see this like splurt of blood, and the incinerator is on as Penta is whirling around. Give me a get out of the way type skill. Maybe close combat. Give me a close combat skill to see if you
Range
can
combat,
avoid
just shoot it.
getting burned by
With what?
this thing. Yeah. Or no, maybe mobility probably would have been. Oh yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, you're able to like kind of shove her a little bit, like, hey, whoa, and get away just enough so that this gout of like short flame doesn't nick you while she's like, it's on, and she like wants to burn the rat, but it's like pointed towards. She's not going to do it. You can see that she's terrified. She's in full panic mode. And she's not going to burn herself, even though she kind of wants to kill the rat. She's not going to be able to.
Is there like a tool around or something? I don't want to punch the rat.
Totally. Yeah. What you grab a pot. There's a you're holding on to this like potted plant thing. It's just in your hands. It's a dead plant already.
That's true. Yeah. No. I grabbed try to throw it or like use it to hit the rat off the shoulder.
Yeah. Awesome. Give me another close combat. As you try to pot this rat. Boom.
Oh,
Cool.
rat.
Yeah, you like slam the pot and like it like hits Penta too, right? Like it's a vessel for a plant. It
Sorry.
scatters the rat. The rat like leaves. You can see like her neck has opened. There's like this like just river of blood because it's like, oh man, it's a neck wound, right? Just a river of blood like soaking into her clothes. And the rat is like on the counter, kind of dazed for a second, and the pot like smashes against the ground and is no longer useful. But and Penta is still in panic mode. So what do you want to do for this next round of combat with rat blaming
With
Penta?
a rat.
Yeah.
Oh, is Penta on fire?
She's not on fire, but she has this thing emanating fire. It's just to like paint the
Okay,
scene for you.
yeah.
Like it's not like the safest terrain for you to
Totally.
just walk through. But the rat is on
Mhm.
the other side of her from you. So I just want to kind of get a sense of like, how does Penter solve this problem?
Silence.
I think just gonna try to take the thing from Parta.
Yeah.
Try to like pull it out of her hand and like try to aim it at the rat.
Okay, cool. Give me I guess another close combat to see if in this round you can get the flamethrower from her while she's in this like panic state. 2 successes. Okay. I'm not gonna roll for Parta. So yeah, you like very deftly for a scientist work your hand kind of just over her hand and just push like the weapon just right out of her grasp. And at the end of this motion, you have the incinerator and you kind of like with your left hand get her behind you as she is still like screaming and like clutching at her neck, and is saying, "What are you doing? Get the medic kick. Get the medic kick. Help me!" As you're like, you now have the incinerator in hand, and this rat is like up, and it's strange for the briefest moment. You watch as it's like jaw falls much farther than any rat's jaw should ever fall, as this like starts as a squeak and then ends as this like fiercely tiny howl as it like roars at you with all of its might. I need you to make a wits roll. Just click on wits without any extra skill and see if this thing can scare you off for a second.
Or just say
I saw
yes.
wits a second ago, but I couldn't.
Oh yeah,
Where
wits is
it
sorry,
now?
in character, if you go back to the character tab,
Yeah.
in the wits is like one of the
Oh,
central
yeah.
stats.
Main one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
awesome.
I'm rolling pretty well.
So this horrific thing happens in front of you, but you still have your wits about you. What do you want to do?
I'm just gonna flip on the incinerator. Just like shove it right in front.
Awesome. Yeah.
Really
Give me
calculated.
I think the incinerators are technically ranged combat, so give me a ranged combat roll.
Oh no.
All right.
Did you
awesome.
win?
Yeah, you win. You
I win the
this
game.
thing. You do 2 bits of fire damage to this thing, as you watch its like skin roil and boil away, as this like as the body erupts, as all of the cells flee the fire. Just it self-destructs trying to get away from the fire, and ultimately fails in that effort, as you're able to burn all of the like organic matter, and you like are extra thorough as you see like little bits of it like still trying to like a little droplet of it is trying to crawl away, and you burn that to a cinder as well. Yeah.
I mean, Penta will stare at it for a little while and then rush over and try to help Parta. Who's probably
Yeah,
like
Parta
almost dead.
Parta, after you kind of come out of your reverie, you see Parta has now like fainted, and like she had like this moment where maybe she was leaning against one of the like tabletops or something like that, and your reverie is broken by the sound of her like body thudding against the ground. She seems to be alive. She's just fainted, you know. But yeah, that you're alone in here.
I'll take the med kit and try to like wrap her up.
Yeah.
Wrap up where the bite was.
Go ahead and give me. I forgot to do this earlier when you saw that rat do the thing. Will you take an extra stress for me? Because that was stressful, right?
That
was
pretty
scary.
stressful.
Yeah. And then just real quick, while you're like grabbing that med kit, you hear that scratching again. And we're gonna go to another scene. Dumont, you have been talking with Volkov, and you're headed to the scientist, or not to the scientist. My apologies. I was reading the scientist. You're headed to the doctor. I'm going to say that all of you meet one another here in this, like, right here in this like T junction. Like the dining room is to the north of everybody. The stairwell is to the south. The kitchen is one direction. The marshal office is in the other direction. And we have this like arrival of the two teams as like Dumont and Volkov and the kid are present. And then we have Mueller and the doctor and the other scientist. Samara. So the kind of six of you are in this space, and Mueller is like kind of behind the two, like, you two get to present me to the thing, and he's not going to speak first, is what I'm trying to say here. This is going to be between the PCs first.
What y'all up to? As I
figured out another test. One of you step forward and I'll test you really quick.
The kid.
But we don't give the kid first. What is his test?
It's like before, but we figured out how to tell if you're the thing. Or not the thing. Whatever it is.
Kid's
calling it an object.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What do you need from me?
Just hold out your wrist. And I'll take a blood sample.
Okay. Yeah, you all watch as the doctor like takes a blood sample, and
it's a very empty vial when it went towards the kid, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all like observing it.
Yeah, closely. I'm like,
right.
You're being a little lax on the info here, Doc.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just real quick, there's this like beat where Samara and like Mueller both are kind of watching the proceedings, but like both just kind of like look around real quick, and maybe just kind of getting an assessment of what's going on. You draw this vial of blood, and what do you do?
I don't have like a table in front of me, so I'm just gonna squirt it directly on the floor.
Okay.
In like a little pool.
What is that's not scientific?
Take the lighter from earlier and try and hold the open flame up to it.
Okay, yeah. You all watch as he like takes this freshly extracted blood and just pours it on the ground. And like there's this moment where the kid's
mopped
like,
there.
What? And
cleaned this morning.
And then he produces the lighter and holds the flame over the blood, and the blood is inert. It begins to dry and cake right there on the ground.
Kita, come over here.
Okay.
Wait,
so
am I in trouble? Did something?
No, you're safe.
Okay.
What is this
Yeah.
test? And if we're going to administer the test, we need to get everyone in the same room. Otherwise, we'll just have to redo the test all over again.
You guys hear a blood-curdling scream from the greenhouse.
That seems like a bad plan. Yeah. We'll immediately run.
I'll pull out the gun that I have and I'll go over as well.
I love
And
it.
someone
Let's
butcher a knife.
roll.
Love it. Oh, that's so good. Okay. So you all head towards this space. And you all round the corner. The whole group of you, like all, what is it, 6 people, right? You all like rush down, head to the greenhouse, and you see this scene kind of as I described earlier, where Penta is in this room holding an incinerator. It's like white plastic incinerator with the flame on. There's smoke emanating from some charred mass, a small mass in the room. And you can see through the glass, because you haven't gained entrance yet. You can see through the glass Penter's buddy in the buddy system. Parta is on the ground, and Penter is like hunched over Parta with like maybe Penter, describe to me exactly where you've put everything. Are you still holding the incinerator? Is it set down? What's your exact configuration when everybody walks up?
I think the incinerator will be next to me, but I'll be kind of trying to help Parza any way I can.
Yeah, you've got this medic bag open, so you all can see this medic kit has been like ripped open, and there's like stuff out. Right, I imagine that Penter has been like moving quickly to get this to like.
Yeah,
be careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this like moment where maybe Samara tries to open the door and it's locked. And Samara says, "It's locked. I can't get in." You all can see, but unless like one of you uses like an intercom or something like that, you can't exactly talk to each other because of
The window?
Yeah, like let's say it's like thick glass, so you could like shout and maybe be heard and then have a discussion, but like you can't
I'm gonna
just
pull my shotgun and shoot the glass.
glass erupts.
I just moved my body in front of Vita.
Yeah, gets away from the shotgun as it whoosh.
Good idea. Use the child as a human shield.
I mean,
As a favor.
No, Mueller was using the child as a human shield.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to say when you hit that person with the pot, Casa, I wanted to be like, oh my god, it's Jason Bourne. That's just been on my mind for the last 20 minutes, so I had to.
Jesus, Dumont, I already have tinnitus. You didn't need to make it worse.
So right before this happens, Casa, can you have Penter roll medical aid? I'm going to say that you got a medic check off before the shotgun blast like ruins your hearing for the next couple.
Shotgun is a medic blast.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Yeah, one success. Looks like Parta is fine, but has passed out. Probably due to like panic, right? But yeah, it will come to after a few minutes.
Slap her face just a little bit.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
She needs her time. And then like the shotgun goes off, and I'm done slapping because like that was loud. And we're all together through the shotgun blast. I don't know how to start that scene. Maybe Dumont, you've made the noise. What do you say?
It's how I enter every scene. I'm just gonna look around with a shotgun in my hand and point at the biologist. Like, what happened? What are you doing to that person?
Nothing. She got bitten. I killed that thing over there, one of the rats. And you come blasting in here. You could have hurt my plans.
She was
Back up
bitten?
right now.
Well, doctor, can you administer the test to the dear biologist?
I'm going to hand the
We'll
gun
do any
to
test.
Samara.
Samara's like,
And I point to Dumont and Volkov. Those two still haven't been tested. And I'm
None
going to
of
walk
us
over
Have
first.
been tested.
Yeah. Okay.
Except for one person. Is
I'm gonna
there
walk
anyone
over.
else missing?
There's
There's
only
like
A lot
You wanna-
of people.
Yeah,
Four
there's-
or no, there's 3 people we don't have with us right now.
correct.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
The pilot, the officer, and one other person.
Okay. Here is my suggestion. I'll go to
Rona?
the intercom. Tell
You
everyone
on?
to meet in the rec room.
Okay. Yeah, you over the intercom call everybody to move into the rec room.
I'm going to quickly do the test first on the sleeping person.
Okay.
Are
Do
you
they
gonna
come
squirt
out
blood on the
clean?
ground again?
This time now with the med kit that was already there. I'll use a petri dish.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually this lab has tons of petri dishes. So if y'all, come
Perfect.
here, there's like, I don't know, infinity petri dishes in this space for all intents and purposes.
You don't have
And
to squirt it on the floor.
yeah. Give me an observation roll.
Okay. I would like to push this.
Oh, only if you fail do you need to push.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Push it real good.
Okay, then you would push because you did fail.
So I add a stress and roll again.
Yes.
Okay. So I add a stress and I click observation again. Gosh.
Cool. Yeah.
Did you win?
Yeah, no, you did not win. So there's this moment where you do the thing and like, I mean, you look at the wound, it's not like what you saw in the recording where like in the recording, the people's faces are covered, like orifices are being like penetrated by this thing. And there's a bite wound on the neck, right? Like you're looking at this like, I don't know, like Parts is kind of a wuss anyways. Like panic leads to this kind of stuff. So very easy for you to explain away like what's going on here. Now your level of paranoia, you may want to test everybody twice. But just to say like, this person's clean and you have lots of good reason why they would be passed out right now.
Okay. While we're still in this room, would everyone who hasn't been tested yet at all let me test you very quickly?
Okay.
No, we have to wait until everyone is here.
Oh.
Because by the time we're
all
going to
together,
separate, we're going to separate in order to get everyone else.
Why would we separate?
I told everyone just to buddy up and then come back, and everyone is already separated. You went down here without telling anyone else.
We found out what happened at the site. The exact same thing happened. People got isolated, people split up, and that's how this spread. We need to stay together.
Get everyone together.
Agreed. We have most of us here right now. Let's do the test here, and then we'll find the others as a group.
All right.
It's not a bad idea because then at least we know who is on our side.
All right.
Now.
I'll get and he lights up the little end part of the flamethrower.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready.
And as you light that up, maybe Casa Penter has this like over vigilance as you hear like a metal grate swing open and you glance back at where you heard that scratching earlier and it's open. You don't see a rat.
Oh. Yeah, so I forgot to say there were more than just one of these things. So, Dumont, get that gun ready because something's gonna come.
Flamethrower is ready to roll.
Yeah.
Down the pipe 5x5.
And a pipe. But just to be sure, and is there anything sharp? Maybe like part of the pot. Penta will just kind of slice her hand open and then
I had a
pour
needle.
it.
But Spencer's like, blood oath.
We're dealing with an infection here. Stop squirting shit.
You're gonna give yourself
No,
another infection.
She does it like you cut in with this pot, and there's like this drip of blood, and it like falls to the floor, and you will watch like Penter's resolve come to reveal itself.
I can respect
Badass.
that.
Yeah.
Too tough.
Do you administer
Gotta
the
go.
test on the blood that she just produced?
Yes.
All right, yeah, you go over with the lighter, and her blood dries and cakes, and you guys hear like a beaker fall and smash against the ground over on the back wall of this room, like over here. And I'm going to say that
like us being in this room.
Samara, you handed the gun to Samara, right?
Yeah.
The gun goes off. It's a loud boom. As like more shit on that wall, like papers go up, right? And then Samara is like looking at the thing, and you all watch as like Samara's own panic sets in, and everybody in this room, your stress goes up by 1 because you have a person who has a gun and they're not in control of themselves.
That
They're not
gun only
panicked.
had 1 shot though, right?
No,
Guns-
It said no reload on it.
Yeah, no reload.
kind of
It
gun?
has bullets in it, but no like
Okay,
extra
okay.
mag. So it has a narrative amount of rounds in it. But yeah, so there's like this boom, and then another one, and everybody's stress goes up by 1 as you're like in this room with a
And-
gun going off, and like Samara's not like
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I follow Penter's lead, and I just like slice my hand with my butcher knife, and then walk over and try and grab the gun out of
Samara.
Samara's hand. Like just leave my blood on the table for the doctor.
Just
and just
smear it.
grab.
Just
Yeah.
smeared across the table like,
Yeah, I'm like, fine,
He's
test
gonna
it.
like get the
Grab the
blood,
gun.
slap the doctor, like, here, take it. Take
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
Take
yeah,
the blood.
Test it on your tongue.
exactly.
All right, everyone's getting antibiotics after this, whatever this is.
So we're all we're gonna win, but then die from infection and blood loss.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mundane death.
Give
Yeah.
me a close combat roll to disarm
Oh, yes.
a panicked
I can do that. Oh, let me get me. I forgot to
Can I
do
can I help?
I
I
have
want to shoot
success.
Samara in the kneecap, preferably.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that does aid. Do you? I mean, give me a ranged combat if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah,
it's a
kneecap.
dangerous like, this person hasn't been trained handing off guns to people.
Yeah.
What the heck? I probably should have handed out the gun. Now I have regrets.
Just covering your ass.
Okay, so
You shoot
Taylor,
both shoot.
Taylor, Volkov is able to, like, with the non-bloodied hand, arrest the gun from Samira, right?
Mhm.
And like you hold it by like the barrel down until like you just continue to apply pressure as he's releasing, and then the boom of the shotgun goes off right next to you. And
I check my hand real quick. I'm like, wait.
yeah. Did I do that? As Samira screams in pain. Now you have rolled extra successes on this attack,
Damage.
so you damage. Okay, fair enough. So this is the other thing about combat, folks. Whenever you get extra damage, you have what are called stunts, and you can apply these extra successes towards things that you want. In this case, damage. So how much damage does a shotgun normally do?
What if you kill this person?
I know, right?
But gun safety
Check.
ain't no joke.
The marshal right
Yeah.
now.
Let
He's
me
acting
see.
erratically, and I do not trust it anymore. We must
What is
check
the
him.
gear? I need to find the shotgun. Weapons and armor. Rifle.
Just don't be waving guns around. I should
Yeah.
be the only one waving guns around.
That's all it. Okay, so the shotgun does 3 damage. You did 2 extra damage. I'm gonna say that
Jesus.
like you shoot his leg, right? Like hey, this person's no longer a combatant, and like, I mean, you have the medic here, right?
Mhm.
Joshi, you watch as like Samira's like upper leg collapses under the amount of trauma from this shotgun. You know, just like medically, you're watching as like bones are eviscerating. That giant artery down there has been perforated so many times. Samira is not dying, is not dead, but is dying with a lot of pain.
I have the talent field surgeon. I get a +2 modification to medical aid when treating someone who is about to die from a critical injury. I think Joshi flashes back to their time serving as an army medic.
Yeah.
And immediately like just ignores everything else, grabs whatever's left of the med kit they were using and whatever they have in their surgical kit, and immediately sets to work to save Samara's life. This is Joshi's friend. Too many friends have died. This is not going to happen again.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. I love that. So you immediately get to work. You had the surgical kit with you the whole time, and you go to work on this guy during this round. And so give me like give me some like medical check shit. Like give me some of that.
Like I don't know how to add
you should have
surgeon bonus.
Let me look at your thing. So I think what you can do in oh gosh, that's a really good point. How to add +2 from a thing.
Yeah, usually it asks you for a modifier, but I guess for now you could probably just put 2 more in your skill and then roll it and then just put it back.
I think that's fair. Just go ahead and give yourself like an artificial like.
I think I might have found it. So if I roll these and this. Oh, wait, what?
Okay. I think you got it with the medical aid.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks correct.
Yeah, because that's your skill plus. Okay, so 3 stress. Hold on a second. It would have been 4 + 3, so 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, +2 more. Actually, you got it even before you did your medical aid because this roll did not give you the extra 2. But you succeeded with 3 stunts. So I'm going to say that you clawed back 3 of those damage effectively, and you have just barely stopped him from dying. And you basically went in there with the world's biggest clamp and clamped off that artery so he didn't like lose all of his blood like he was about to. His leg is gone. It's ruined, but he is not going to die in this moment.
I'm tackling the fucking marshal. Like I'm trying to grapple a weapon away and pin you to the ground until we get a fucking test of your blood.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be like an opposed close combat between the two of you.
Okay.
Wait, whatever happened to Belle? Because wasn't Belle the marshal's buddy?
Yeah, Belle has not been a part of any of these scenes.
Huh. I guess we don't know who everyone was buddied up with.
2 successes. Oh, what does that mean?
Ooh,
Me
you
and
get to
Belle.
roll your panic.
Me and Belle were naked together.
Yeah. Getting to know each other biblically in a time of stress.
I mean, this is fitting that I'm panicking in this moment, but where is that?
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, you would have succeeded, but you've rolled panic. So what you're going to do, my lovely Marine, there is a panic button on your character sheet, top center in the roll buttons.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep. Roll panic for me. Okay. A 6. You are able to keep it together. Okay. And you, because you've been able to keep it together, you do ultimately succeed in this contest. You are able to grapple Dumont and maybe the two of you are wrestling over control of the rifle, but currently the rifle or the shotgun cannot be used while the medic continues to save his friend's life.
What are you doing?
Now, before any of y'all act, I really want to know what Penter, our scientist, does in this moment, as you have watched a lot go down in the last couple of seconds.
Do you want a gun?
I'll give you a gun.
And you get a gun. And you get a gun.
What are you doing? What are we all doing right now? Are we fighting each other and suspecting each other and testing each other, but then not agreeing to those tests? I'm not sure what
Lack
can we
of
do?
Order.
It feels like maybe, Penter, are you trying to like get everybody to calm down and like trying to disarm the situation a little bit?
Appeal to their logical.
Will you give me a manipulation or command? I think either of those would be appropriate here as you try to diffuse the situation.
Manipulation. Oh no.
So no successes.
Shit.
You can push if this is really important to you. So you would add another stress and then re-roll that.
Wait, I add a stress, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Nothing.
Fair enough.
What?
Yeah. I mean, look, you have
No one
you have
listens
all
to
of
me.
you have all of like 2 dice to commit to this. It was it would have been tough. But yeah, you're kind of howling into the wind here as this scene unfolds. The kid probably bolts. I'm going to say that this feels like a really dangerous situation, and so the kid is going to leave. And you all hear her like run down the hall. As we get into the next round of combat, I really want to resolve Demont and Volkov. So Demont, what do you want to do?
I mean, I'm feeling this person's like biceps, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Just try to take it.
Right, and we already lost one person via leg trauma.
Yeah.
Whose fault is that?
Their fault. But we can't really risk another person, so I'm just gonna let them have the shotgun.
Okay. Yeah, you release the weapon, and all of that stuff. And so Volkov, you have it. Unless somebody else wants to take a combat style action, we can resolve combat here. Does anybody else have anything else they want to do?
I just want to do, but I think it involves combat being over.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah,
So I'm just like, I think I take the shotgun and literally like chunk it behind away from us, like towards the wall, and just are like looking at the marshal like, I am not trying to hurt you. We just need to calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
I'm calm.
You just obliterated her leg for no fucking reason.
They were waving a gun around while panicked.
You shot someone. How is that any better than her shooting at the This way. We just need to breathe. You'll just need to
Because
breathe.
I want to get back to my daughter, okay?
All of you have people you need to go home to. I get it. But we have to be smart about it, or none of us are going to get out, because she could be perfectly fine and you would have just killed her. Is that what you want, to go home with that guilt on you? An innocent person dead? No.
Everyone here, yes. What if they shot someone?
Who took
handed
the gun?
her the gun?
You! I took
I did not.
the
I
gun
handed the
away
doctor.
from her.
Handed the doctor the gun. Let's just,
Demont.
unless you are trained in weapons, please don't use a weapon. This is just the beginning, and it's going to get a lot more stressful.
Demont, have you been tested?
Oh, not yet.
No.
Here. And I'll wipe some of the blood on the table.
Please just let me use a syringe.
Folks, everybody in this room, you can give me an observation check while there's like this moment of calm.
I'd also try to like, what's it called?
Oh no!
Take advantage of this moment of calm too, and
Yep.
just be like, if you just have to breathe, you have to keep a heavy or a clear mind. Like I'm trying to talk him down because I want to use my banter ability talent.
Yeah.
Between fights, you release the tension in your team with some friendly banter.
Nice.
So, I'm
Yeah,
trying to
so
calm us down, and your stress level and the stress level of everyone in short range should be drops by
Ooh.
2.
Oh,
Nice.
snap. All
Nice.
right. Yeah, we're going
That's
to live.
good.
We're fine. Oh,
That's
man,
good.
I'm sorry
That's
about
good.
your leg.
So Joshy, I need you to roll your panic, as this situation fucking sucks.
Do I roll the panic before or after I subtract 2 with banter?
Oh, before, because this
Got it.
observation happened before she declared she was going to do the banter thing. Okay, you were able to barely hold it together, and there's this moment of like you were saving your friend's life, and you're like looking at Dumont as he like does the thing, and you're like still holding this clamp over your friend's arterial thing, and you're like mad, and you're like getting overwhelmed, and you bring it in just enough as you notice the blood on Dumont's hand was scraped onto it, and he put it back onto the counter. Now, Penter, you notice something different with one success. You notice that rat that's been in this room is currently crawling inside Parta's mouth.
Well, that sucks.
I'm going to yell to Volkov.
But
keep holding him down, and I'm going to pull out a syringe, and I'm taking it.
You're taking the blood directly from his arm, kind of thing?
Yes.
All right. So there's this moment, Casa, where Penter, there's these people who are making all of these like big moves are going on, and you're like just fixated on this rat as it literally crawls inside of Parta's mouth, and you watch the tail disappear down her throat.
Oh no!
Oh,
what do you do?
She's not coming back.
Might make it. God.
You gotta act quick if you want her to come back.
I don't know if I would like if I'm friendly enough with her to stick my hand down her throat.
I think it's fine. I don't know.
I'm gonna just watch and see what happens to her body.
I love this scientist. You're so dark. Okay, great. So you watch as this scene unfolds behind you. None of you notice this thing. Okay, this is just like Penter is clocked in on this while the three of you resolve this like contest. So Dumont, Volkov wants to hold you down, and the doctor wants to like force you to get over your fear of needles.
Volkov wants to hold me down, let's do this. I'm gonna grab.
Yeah, I think after I tried to like calm everybody down, and like I'm going to grab your arms.
Everybody can bring your stress down. I'm gonna say that banter happened kind of earlier on, so you can all take off 2 stress in this moment.
Just gonna grab you back like I'm gonna see my motherfucking daughter.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. But yeah, I will hold him steady while the doctor takes blood.
Because this is a tense situation, doctor, I want you to make a medic check.
Sounds good. I'm assuming I don't get field surgeon from here.
No, not for this one.
Well, what if I lose HP so that I'm almost dead? Then
I guess technically.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, yeah. You're
blow off your leg.
Yeah,
that's the test. Everyone has to blow off each other's legs.
Yeah.
It's the only way to be sure.
That's so good. All right, so you're able to extract the blood from Dorit. Was it Dumont?
I'm gonna quickly administer the test.
Cool. Yeah, you like produce that lighter, and as you're like holding the flame up to the syringe, and you watch as the blood begins to separate away from the contents of the syringe. Dumont, I'm going to take over your character.
That's fair.
And you all
I'm
hear
hugging who I wanted to hug.
Yeah. You all hear like a crash. You all hear this crash down the hall as something is going on somewhere else in the research facility. Volkov, Dumont's face begins to peel away and fall down as this thing enters covers you. Covers your eyes and nose and mouth and ears and begins to get into you. Give me a stamina roll first.
Oh, where's stamina?
So there's still an unattended flamer in here, right?
Yeah, sitting on a table.
Where's
I'm gonna
stamina?
go for that. I'm jashing towards that.
Yeah,
we're fine. Everything's fine.
There's stamina. There's stamina. Okay.
Yeah.
I just hugged it.
I don't know what that means. It doesn't tell me success or not, but there's 2 little plus marks.
Yeah, that's success. That's 2 successes.
Yeah. Okay, 1 second. I need to make my roll to see if you succeed because it's a simulate check. Okay. Would you like to push?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
Why don't you want to be with me, Tay? What did I ever do? God damn.
So to push.
Sorry.
Truly, what you're doing here is you're going to add a stress. Hold on.
Yep.
You're going to add a stress. Everything that wasn't a success. So what is it? So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 1. That's the true roll.
Okay, so I need to just roll that many d6s.
You've banked 2 successes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just need to roll 5d6 then instead of the actual skill.
Right, and hope that one of those is a success to get you out of what's about to happen to your spirit.
Oh, that only goes up to 3. Okay, let me tell Roll20 to roll for me. Okay, 5d6.
Okay, you got a 6. So yeah, you are able to resist this attempt to in an unholy way, like rip your cellular structure apart and replace it with its own. As you are able to push Dumont off, and you kind of stagger away, you get out of like close, like you're now like close range, you're no longer entangled with one another. As like we begin combat. So real quick, time check. It's 12:30 my time. Are we okay to go like maybe another 30 minutes?
I'm good to go, yeah.
All right, cool.
It's 5:30 a.m. here, but that's okay.
I'm gonna try and finish this quicker than that because I've got a flamer now.
Yeah. Exactly. I love this. So hey, Mitch, do you want to take over? Because as a player, your character has died, and it sucks to like not get to play any further. Would you like to take over?
Mueller's still in the room, I think.
Yeah, would you like to take over Mueller?
Well,
Mueller's in the room and has been tested negative.
Oh, yeah. What's Mueller's vibe?
Yeah, Mueller is, he's cool. Let me give you control. Now you are going to have to transfer his like cool guy stuff, his points.
I'll just add my previous character's points to his. I get stronger with every assimilation.
That's a fun take. Like every time they assimilate, they just continuously add skills.
Like I'm now bigger.
Yeah. So here, let me edit this character sheet to give you control because Mueller is guaranteed not a thing. All right. Cool. Love this. Love this. All right. So
it's so fun. This is so great.
Mueller's
It's so much-
eyes roll into the back of his head as the PC begins to take over, and he's back with us now with more agency and actions and things that he gets to do because he's controlled by a PC and not by the GM.
I want to stay as much agency as I had before. I think if I chill out in the background, maybe I can live.
That's the kid's plan. That's the kid's plan. It's like, I'm outro. And
Oh my god, why aren't I the kid? God damn it, that would have been smart. Been like, hey guys, I'm a kid, I'm out.
Yep. All right. So okay. I have Let's do combat. I will let all of you go first before Dumont goes. Okay. So the medic, Mueller, and Volkov, you're all clocked in. Dumont is there, exposed as the stranger. Now, Penter, you are also present, but you're conducting science. You know, you're in like
I'm in my own world.
yeah, exactly. So I'm up for you. Kind of tell me at the beginning of this combat round, does Penter want to involve herself with this scuffle with Dumont, or do you want to watch this assimilation happen?
I
God, don't
kind
do that
of
to
just want to
She-Hulk.
like, maybe I'll hide like somewhere, or I'll just like watch it. and
Love
keep
that. All
watching
right.
it.
So Penter, why don't you go ahead and give me I think there's a stealth or maybe a mobility. Yeah, why don't you give me like a mobility roll as you start to move yourself away from all of the things that are happening. And you're trying to basically not be known by anybody in the room, including the stranger, right?
Okay. Oh, in a panic.
Damn, there's a lot of successes. Go ahead and give me your panic roll. There's a little button on your character sheet that says panic. Okay, you barely hold it together as you find the dopest of hiding spots in this fucking lab. You know this lab super well. You know where all the nooks and crannies are, all the cubbies, and you're in some like little cabinet that has like a false like void that nobody else knows about, and you are hidden and able to peek out from a little thing and see what's going on as this combat unfolds. Volkov, what's your plan? Or actually, you all can decide who goes first. So between Volkov, Mueller, and Joshi, who wants to go first?
Since I'm still grabbing the flamer that's next to me, I think Volkov should go first since they already have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I already had it. I just push away, grab the thing, and just light the pilot and go.
Sweet. Yeah.
Treat him kindly. He was a wonderful marshal.
Yes.
Glad to see him go.
He's been a little questionable the whole time, Fever.
I don't know.
Look, the subtle differences were phenomenal for me to observe. So go ahead and give me a ranged combat check.
Okay. 1 success.
All right. So you do 2 fire damage to the stranger, as like you begin to burn parts of stuff, and it howls and yowls in pain and like tries to move away from the flame as fast as it can. And then let's talk about Joshi. What's Joshi doing?
Crossing the beams. Let's get double the fire. In here.
Yes.
Wait, you
I'm
can
not
cross
trained
the
in this
beams?
at all.
Yeah, I love this. Okay, yeah. So go ahead and give me your roll. Ranged combat.
I also like the cross beams.
Ooh, all right. Go ahead and roll your panic. You're probably gonna be fine. Just roll your panic. It'd be okay. Oh yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You're Iceman here. You do another 2 damage of fire to this to Dumont as the 2 of you begin to like really focus in on the extremities and torso. Mueller, what does Mueller do without anything?
Oh, thanks for calling me out.
I just want to know.
There's
What do you want to do, you
abandoned
useless
shotgun.
NPC?
Yeah, there is a shotgun.
There's just a shotgun on the floor.
Oh yeah, those kicks
Yeah.
behind where Mueller is standing.
But the last time someone who wasn't trained in weapons picked it up, their leg went.
Behind that very shotgun. It's the only shotgun in the room. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna chill out by the scientist and just hide. Well, no, I can't see her. Right, she's gone. Right?
Yeah. Hiding in a
Yeah.
closet
Then I'm
or
just
something.
I'm just gonna back away behind the corner and let some of these big, strong men and women protect me.
It's only me. It's only me. The doctors do the best it can.
Look, guys, I'm just your good old fashioned company agent.
I knew I didn't trust you just because of your morals.
I just don't want to freak out and shoot someone with a gun.
Need a gun.
Again.
Yeah, I think as I am just like flame, I'm just fucking do something.
It's probably like that. What is it? The assassin's bodyguard. That scene where he goes back to like when he met his wife. It's just like, oh man, that's so awesome.
That's so good.
Friends.
Yes.
So I'm trying to find the tactics here. Just make sure I get this right.
Wiggle.
Yeah. Right? Wiggle. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Right. So, okay. Joshi, you do that damage. Mueller, you hide. So now the stranger, formerly Demont, gets to do a thing. Awesome. The stranger has realized that the medic is the true problem for all of its schemes, and it lunges at you, getting into engaged range. And it again, Dumont's like this like trunk of just like inky cellular structure whips towards you and tries to cover you as it attempts an assimilation. Go ahead and give me a, just making sure. Yeah, stamina.
I'm not bad at these.
All right. Let's see here. Okay. It covers you. I'm gonna give you like one more attack.
Can I push the stamina roll first?
Oh yeah, you could push for sure. Give yourself an extra stress.
Okay. So now I'm only rolling 4 dice plus 1 from the new stress.
Correct. You've got one success.
5.
Yeah, you're gonna roll 5 dice.
Okay. No.
All right. So posthumously, I want to give you one more attack. Okay, because you've been on this case, and it feels wrong to deny you. So give me one more attack as you are being completely invaded by this cellular being.
At least since you and Demont were like lovers.
I feel like only Dumont thought that.
Oh, fair enough. Do you want to push this?
I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah, push it on the way out. Yeah, just keep going.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna say that Joshi, you have this epiphany on your way out from this mortal coil. And you turn the flamer on your very head, because it is fully extended, it's exposed, right? And you rend this thing. You completely eviscerate and destroy the stranger that is in front of you as you all watch the medic pass out. And for a brief moment, combat is ended. You have a dead stranger. You have 2 people in this room who have passed out. Volkov, Mueller, you realize that the 2 of you are alone. The doctor's gone. and you have these two, or the scientist is gone, and you've got these two bodies on the floor of the doctor and the.
Three. We have Samara, Joshi, and Penter.
Oh yeah, Samara's like
Patra.
bloody body.
what happened to Pan? Yeah.
Parta and Joshi are all on the ground.
Does this room, because it's like a science-y room, does it have like an oh shit lockdown button in case like of
that button
contaminants?
was pressed? Yes, and then there was a shotgun.
Yeah, the shotgun.
Oh, fuck, that's ruined everything. God damn it. We had more options. I feel like the shotgun just closes options.
Yeah, I start yelling for the P that is our friend. Penter. There's two P's, like I confused.
Yeah,
Be friend,
okay,
come here.
come out. There's so many.
Yeah.
Oh. Penta will walk closer to Joshi.
Did we? I don't know. The Mueller.
You all watch as Penter emerges from like some crazy hidey hole. Right?
Like thank you for saying.
Yeah.
We have to administer the test again?
Like
I didn't know if you have ever gotten one. I didn't see it, and everything is going crazy.
We don't know if Penter,
Give
like,
me your hand. Give me
with
your
what?
hand. Give me your hand. Thank you. I do like a little, just the tip of the finger with my thing. I do not know how to use it. I'm a hit an artery. I just like do the drop, like where like a blood pressure drop, but they just hold the lighter over where it's dropping.
Yeah,
for Mueller.
Mueller is clean.
Okay, let's get the fuck out of here.
Where? There's no place for us to go.
I did see that the marshal's office had a pretty good area of defense. Maybe we can start to checking to see if other people are okay. I don't know.
You guys hear this deep thud. It like shakes part of the research facility. It feels like it's coming from maybe back where the housing area is.
I think we. Mueller, are you good with weapons?
What do you mean?
No, Penta, are you good with weapons?
Actually, I do have some firearm training. My mom took me.
Velden, bring this.
I've never used a weapon.
Okay, then Mueller, if you have a little bit of knowledge, grabs the other flamethrower off of poor Joshi.
Oh,
yeah. I'll grab the flame.
Wait, did Joshi, did I die or did I just pass out?
You're passed out.
I'm still alive. Still alive.
Okay. I was already looting.
But he burned himself, right?
Okay.
Mercy kill?
But, I saw what happened. So
yeah, you saw the stuff on his face, and you know what that's like. You know what was happening there, and Joshi passed out.
Okay, everybody.
Should we try this?
This is not a thing that I say lightly, because the whole fucking reason I am here is because I would not shoot anyone of my own company. But I think we have to put him out of his. How is this other girl that is passed out? Why is she passed out? The other P.
You're in command now. I just work here.
But something crawled into Parta's mouth, like a rat.
And as you say that, Parta begins to stir, and she like you see her like kind of roll over and blink. How's it going, everybody? Are we okay? Are we still safe in here? There was a rat.
Turns on the.
What happened to the rat?
The fire thing. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, you turn on the incinerator. Yeah, you turn on the incinerator. It's like, were there more? Oh my God, what happened here? What happened to Demont? What happened
Hey.
to Samira?
Would you like to give me a little bit of your blood, please?
I don't know. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Awesome.
you. I like just my flamethrower, so I'm far enough away, but for wherever she puts the blood.
Well, like, how do you want her to give you blood?
Just
Oh, here,
on
I've got a
the
lot of
table.
blood on my shirt from when the rat bit me. Do you want that?
Well, why, we have a biologist. Why does the biologist use the syringe?
Because last time we got close to something we were sure my face nearly got eaten. So could you just here? There's
Let's just go to the med bay. You can like tie me down, right? There's the straps on the bed.
How much is it going to take for me to put poor Joshy out of his misery?
I mean, I'll give it to you for 2 stress.
Have you? I'm out cold. I can't say anything.
Look, it's hard putting someone out of their misery. It takes a lot of effort.
He burned his face. I know what those things were going to do. No, he's passed out. I'm not the one to be making these choices. I am a cook. I came here to make biscuits and make friends. And now I'm having to kill people.
Okay. You need bread before? Just same principle.
You guys hear Joshy coughing as he like his eyes open, and he kind of looks around the room and says, we're okay, right? You guys got him?
Volkov, what are you doing?
I'm going to say you succeed. And he runs away.
He runs away.
You succeed, you do damage, but he runs away.
Fuck.
And as he runs away, Parta watches and she runs too.
Oh.
As you guys watch both of them run like down this hallway up the path, and you hear that big thud again.
Fuck this.
And at the end of the hall, if you'll scroll up just a little bit, Taylor, at the end of the hall, you watch as Officer Bell's face is attached to this gigantic homunculus thing as it forces its way through a small door opening, tendrils grasping at walls, and the door rips off of its framing as Bell says, "We need order." And
I'm shooting myself. Fuck this.
Fade to black on this moment.
I will say,
like, massive tendrilled thing begins crawling towards the group.
Volkov is fully running to wherever the ventilation oxygen system is and catching it on fire and taking this whole building down.
Yeah, I'm using a pistol. I'm using a pistol and shooting myself. All right, I'm
all
out.
right. So Mueller's like, I know what to do here.
Yeah, just grab it and just slide.
Taking everyone with me.
All right. So okay, this is great. Volkov, give me mobility.
Oh, I don't think I have that.
As Volkov realizes,
I'll push it. I'll push it more. I'll take all 10 distress, baby.
Push it.
Come on. Give me one. Give me 2. Okay.
All right. So there's this horrific realization that Volkov has as you realize that, well, down below in the storage space, there is lots of fuel to keep this base warm and running. But those stairs
be Kurt Russell. Let's go.
Are right the fuck there in front of this monster. And Volkov, as you have friends committing suicide behind you, this fetid creature in front of you, you run towards it. Every fiber of your being is telling you, no, hide, do what the kid did, get somewhere else. And as you slip into the stairs, tendrils passing you, trying to catch you, you run as fast as you fucking can to those gas canisters and you light them ablaze. and we have no idea how that ended as we fade to black.
Does E.T. not get home? Little heart can't handle that. All right, Taylor. Who killed me? I'm gonna blame
Joshie did.
Yeah.
I thought we were friends.
Milan
Okay.
It was good.
In effect, I got both of us.
It was a true romance.
Oh,
It was
my
like
gosh.
I was on the little
Romeo
wooden
and
paddle
Juliet.
and you were Jack.
Someone should write
Man.
an AO3 fanfic of you on Joshie unrequited love fic.
Let's do it.
But you need the pre-stranger assimilation and the post-stranger assimilation, as there would clearly be a chapter 1 and a chapter 2 of that fanfic.
You're like, look what I can do with my body now.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
As I'm atomically a different thing. Yeah.
I'm really flexible now. It's really good. Join my yoga class. It's great.
Oh boy, thank you, David. That was terrifying.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey,
Yeah,
will you all put the
thank you.
link to the scenario in the chat? Scotty guys just linked it, but I think he got modded
Oh
out. because
yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
that I do
Scotty, this
that.
was fun. This was so fun to run. I know I skipped a bunch of stuff. I know that like all that, but I was like, I got this. I got the vibe. I know what's up. And
so cool.
oh my gosh. Hats off to you. Oh my God, Mitch. Like, you were converted early and you played that shit well.
Was it Belle? Did it start with Belle?
It started with Belle. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
I
so
had a
glad you
feeling.
took her because she was supposed to be my buddy, and I'm so
Belle was
glad you
bad.
took her.
I know. I was like, oh, we're looking at each other naked, and then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your body's a little bit different
Oh.
than
In a different
my
way.
body.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to be body positive though, so I ain't gonna say anything.
As you
positivity.
at a molecular level change me into something else.
Oh my
I know, right?
gosh.
It's like, oh my god, he's such a dick.
But what a dick.
Such a dick.
Oh man, I'm glad you took her.
Oh my God.
I couldn't have dealt with the stress of being the
Oh
boss
yeah,
all the
I was like, oh shit, Belle's in with the marshal, the one in charge of the weapons. This is gonna go well.
I know, and we went into the room with all the weapons and the camera, so who knows what shenanigans we did.
Yeah, that's right.
Silly shenanigans.
hell. Oh boy. Let's see. Mitch, were you able to get that link? I can't see what the link
Yeah,
is
I'm working
to be able
on
to
it right
repost it.
now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Before we go, thank you, David. Where else can people find you? Because I definitely have no idea.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm at HSC David or High Shelf David on Twitter, but I'm over at High Shelf Collective typically. And you know, we do actual plays too, and we do like a podcast and a YouTube channel with some advice stuff on various games. I love sci-fi. I love sci-fi horror. Like, this is so much fun for me. So thank you for the opportunity to run this with everybody. Alien is one of those games that like, it's just bad all the way down, and you might not realize it's bad until it's way too late.
That's real bad.
Yeah. So that was really fun. I love that all the PCs were in one area so that I could do whatever in the rest of the base. That was so much fun. And thanks, Scotty, for writing this. This was a really fun one to run and put together. So yeah, I'm on High Shelf Collective.
Love it. Milan, where can people find you?
Hey, I'm Milan, also known as Mallard on the internet. The two places you can find me are MallardMan _ at Twitter and MallardMan at Twitch. On my Twitch, I stream semi-regularly a variety of games. On my Twitter, I post nonsense and garbage all the time. You should follow it. It's fun nonsense and garbage.
But not as much duck pics as I would like.
I do retweet them, though. I do a stream. We have 2 Mondays left for my VTM stream over on Neon Lights Roleplay. We are in the final act as San Francisco. Stuff's going down.
That's awesome. That's I
Other
love
than
a
that,
vampire.
you can find me on the Through Hollow Flames podcast, which I believe should be starting up soon again after a brief summer hiatus. I say brief; it's been like 4 months.
It's so good.
Life. Awesome. Casa, where can people find you?
Hi. Wilding underscore on Twitter, and mostly on Lost Caravan. There's gonna be a Locust game going on, and I don't know about Locust, but it sounds cool. It's on Thursday. And then I'll be on High Shelf Collective doing Cyberpunk at some point.
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're playing this coming
Yeah.
Wednesday. I can't wait.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
So yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for letting me play.
Yeah. And then same High Shelf Collective. Doing stuff and things. Cyberpunk. We got some D&D. Playing games, just being spooky, doing those
Spooky
sort of
month.
things. Just spooky month. You can also find me here on With the Tail Fridays at 3:30 playing Sleepaway. You can also find me Tuesdays on 2000 Tales playing Big Game Dice Game. We got just like a few episodes left to finish out our Spelljammer. I think we're going to like a fully different system. Maybe Teens in Space. Maybe something else. It's going to be fun. We'll see what we do.
Awesome.
So go catch that. Yeah. And then just, bopping around the internet, other places. I think we have in November a reuniting with Casa and David and I and more on Lost Caravan playing some Wild.
Yes.
I'm excited about
That's
that.
right. We're gonna get to reprise our game.
Got to figure out the triangles. I gotta figure out the
meta.
I gotta figure out the triangles. I have to rewatch that so I can remember all the triangle things.
Yeah, and this like oddly sensual relationship between a cactus man and a spider woman, like
just like totally fine coexisting.
Yeah, it's good.
That'll be good fun. Yeah. And then, doing
Mitch,
fun stuff and things.
Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me over here. Next time we'll be Friday for Sleepaway, and then after that, Necrobatic on House Chef Collective. But yeah, super excited. I'm glad because Scott and I both go to the same local game store, so it was really cool to see everything unfold. And so yeah, I'm just super excited for this.
Mitch, the first time I get to talk to you on a video call, your Necrobiotic game is wild and is like it just hits me in the hearts like every time. Yeah, and like Kelly and I have to debrief because she's in the game, right? My wife is in the game, and like we have to debrief after her. Like, it's
oh
good.
My god,
it's
no, I feel you. Like afterwards, I'm always like, "Why make us myself a cry?"
Yeah,
so good.
So thank you. Oh, but yeah, I hope we all get to play somewhere sometime because that was really fun. And yeah, can't believe Mallard killed me.
Oh, real quick. I see. Okay, the links are in Discord.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, you got it. Let's put that in the chat. So make sure we get everything sorted.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah, the game's so fun. I not knowing how Alien ran, this was very fun little intro to how Alien runs.
Like with the xenomorphs and stuff, it gets really crazy because of like stealth mode and active mode and all this kind of stuff, and it's like it can be really crunchy. This was actually a frankly easier to run than your typical Alien game.
Nice.
Like anybody who's looking to run Alien, I would recommend this because it, like, as a GM, this was simpler than the other ones, and like hopefully you all felt like it was still like creepy and terrifying, and like your options slowly get smaller and smaller as the game goes on, which is the vibe. In
my opinion, the Influence stands out in my mind as a much better horror movie than the Alien. So yeah, I'll fight people on that.
Yeah. When you reference stronger material, you get stronger product.
Yes. Love it. Mitch, do you have raid capability? Do we want to raid?
Yeah.
somebody?
Let's see who can rank rave. Oh, Nat 20 is up and
Ooh,
about.
yeah.
I know one of the individuals played with us for a necrobatic campaign, so we will say hi over there.
Yeah.
Definitely go over there and try to figure out who the stranger is. They're not going to tell you, but just make sure to flamethrow anyone who won't let you tell. That's their blood.
That's right.
Mhm.
And with that note, we'll see you guys later. Have fun.